वरुण। वरुण।
Yes, sir. Good morning. Can you hear me?
हाँ, मैं सुन रहा हूँ। तो मेरा आवाज आ रहा है?
Yes, sir. आवाज आ रहा है and sir, we will get started by 9:15 9:15 पे another
हाँ,
12
कोई
minutes.
इशू नहीं है। कोई इशू नहीं।
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining, sir.
Answer? Om Namah Shivaya.
Varun, start karo. I have to leave.
Yes, sir. We are just starting, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, before we start with the show today, can we have a big round of applause to ourselves? A big round of applause to ourselves. Professor Behra will rightly agree that in life, and I always say this, we don't get a lot of opportunities to applaud ourselves, right? है ना? We are busy applauding other people, but when IIT Mandi and IEEE is giving you this platinum level, PhD level opportunity, why aren't you making the most of it louder? Louder, big round of applause for yourselves. Professor Behra, I hope you're giving a big round of applause for yourself, so give me a yes if you are. Professor Behra? Sir is right there. I can feel him spiritually. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, thank you so much for being a part of this prestigious show, which is, of course, the 15th IEEE presented by IEEE, and, of course, in the beautiful IIT Mandi, which is the Dev Bhumi. Can we have the faculty and the student scholars who are taking part in organizing this beautiful event from IIT Mandi to please stand up? Faculty, management, IIT Mandi, professors, scholars. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause to the leaders standing. They've spent day and night. Sir, have you slept? Professor Datta, have you slept in the longest time for the past 1 week? Oh, sparsely, one hour. But the REM cycle is not completed, I'm pretty sure about that. So these leaders have spent their blood, sweat, and tears in making today happen. Please settle down. Thank you so much. We request the leaders from IEEE to please stand up. Leaders from IEEE, please stand up. Please stand up. You know who you are. IEEE, please stand up. So leaders from IEEE, have a look around. Have a look around. These are your patrons. They've traveled far and wide just to grab themselves a seat today. The leaders from IIT Mandi as well. So leaders from IEEE, can you a big round of applause to everybody who is a part of this show? And for everybody standing, can you a big round of applause for the leaders standing? Because if it wasn't for IEEE, today would not have been possible. So thank you, leaders. Thank you so much. We request you to please settle down. Sure. All right. So today is going to be super interactive. By now, you must have understood it has to be a dialogue. So how about we start off, in India, we have to take the auspicious name of the Almighty. Before we even start off with anything, we request, I invite our esteemed chief guest, Professor Kamesh Namudri ji, Major Madan Kumar, Professor Prakash Duraisamai, Professor R.S. Vallaramathi, Dr. Prachi, Professor Murugesan, Professor Varun Dattu, please come on up on stage. Leaders, please come on up on stage and start with the lighting of the lamp.
अथ पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः पुरुषोत्तमयोगः श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमदः शाखमश्वत्थम् प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तम् वेद स वेदवित् अधश्चोर्ध्वम् प्रसुतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रबालाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसुता पुराणी निर्मानमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसङ्गैर्गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययम् तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः
Fantastic. To all the scholars, can we have a big round of applause now that we are blessed by all the devs in this Dev Bhumi IIT Mandi. Sure, absolutely. So, of course, without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off with the very first segment. We bring to you none other than Professor Lakshmidhar Behera, who is the director of Indian Institute of Technology, that is IIT Mandi. He joined the position on January 19, 2020 on the deputation from IIT Kanpur, where he was previously a professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering. Professor's areas of specialization includes robotics and artificial intelligence, and his research and teaching career spans a whopping 27 years. Can we have a big round of applause for the one, the only Professor Behera? Sir, stage is all yours. The audience awaits. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much. So I'm very happy to welcome all the attendees in the 15th International IEEE Conference on Computing, Communication, Networking Technology. And I'm very proud that IIT Mandi is conducting this. And I really acknowledge the excellent effort of Dr. Barun Dutt, Dr. Prakash Duraiswamy, Dr. Murugeshan, Dr. Arnav Bhavshar, Dr. Aditya Nigam, among others, who really put their heart out to make this conference possible. I was told that you have 663 papers accepted in this conference out of around 5,400 submissions. That's almost 10% of the acceptance rate. I think you have done probably very wonderful job selecting the quality papers in this conference. As an academic institute, I always feel very happy and delighted when conferences and workshops are conducted within the premise of IIT Mandi, because that way we are celebrating our academic excellence, academic success, and any conference for that matter, IEEE, ICC and ICCC that is being conducted here is an opportunity for all the participants, particularly those who are making paper presentation, to network. Opportunity to get network. That means there are many key professors who are researchers who would be presenting or giving plenary talk, invited talk. I understand Professor Kamlesh Amudri Professor Prakash Durai Swami, Professor G. Murugesan, all these great researchers are there. So it will be an opportunity for all of you to listen to them and share your ideas, get networked, create a professional friendship, learn different aspects of research directions, ideas. So with that, I thank everyone, particularly those who have come to IIT Mandi. IIT Mandi is situated in the lap of Himalayas. This is Devbhoomi. We have a lot of places to visit. If you have time after the conference, I would request all of you take some time and visit some of the places like Rialsar, Parasar Lake, Kulu, Manali. The list is endless. In fact, entire India is burning now. I am now in Delhi, 50 degrees centigrade almost. But in Mandi and different parts of Himachal, you will find very cool places for spending some quality time, peace, meditating on your research ideas, learning from the local histories. I hope that this conference will be a great success in terms of presentation of ideas as well as exchange of ideas. So again, I thank Varun for organizing this conference, coordinating and working very hard and ensuring all our guests are properly taken care of nicely, and I wish all of you are feeling home at IIT Mandi. Thank you very much.
Professor Behra, stay with us
Over
a
to
little
you.
longer, sir. Stay with us a little longer. Ladies and gentlemen, a big roaring round of applause for Professor Behra. Professor, you sounded like the unofficial brand ambassador of Himachal Pradesh when you went on and on with the names. I mean, fantastic. So I have a question for you, okay? I do not know when is the next opportunity that I get to interact with you, so I have to make the most of it. Your career spans to nearly 3 decades, a whopping 30 years. So firstly, a big round of applause to that. Professor Behra, what is that one thing that kept you going for nearly 3 decades? What would that be? What is your motivation?
You see, I have been teaching since 1991. Since 1991, I'm teaching. So teaching is my passion. I learn new things by research and share through teaching.
Beautiful.
And that is the process. Thank you for asking.
Fantastic. So spoken like a true leader. Again, thank you so much for your presence. I mean, when experience talks, you listen with your ears wide open, and that's exactly what we did. Again, thank you, Professor Behra, for your service. Thank you for your time, sir. Have a great day. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, what a start.
Thank you, sir.
That was Professor Datta thanking the amazing Professor Behra. What a start, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, to be a part of this show today, we bring to you, because you deserve the best, we present to you only and only the best. And that is now time to bring the best on stage and have a, presenting them with a memento and a token of appreciation from our end. We request Professor Kamesh to please come on up. A big roaring round of applause for Professor Kamesh. And requesting Professor Varun Dutt to present Professor Kamesh with a token of our appreciation. So Professor Kamesh has come all the way from USA. My God, sir, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Professor Kamesh. Request you to please take your seat. Professor Dutt, please stay with us a little longer. We request Professor Prakash to please come on up and present a heartfelt token of appreciation to Professor Varun. Professor, that today is going to be a cardio for you. If there is anybody who will be sharing the stage as much as me, it is Professor Dutt. So, thank you, Professor Prakash. And of course, presenting with a heartfelt token of appreciation for Professor Prakash is none other than Professor Varun. Thank you so much. We now request Professor Murugesan to please come on up, and Professor Prakash will be presenting a heartfelt token of appreciation to Professor Murugesan. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. And while the felicitations happen, we request the students to come on up. All of you looking so bright and stunning. So take the front row seats. How about we do that? So the students at the back, this is not your lecture. I see that you've taken, you filled up the last rows first. Come on up, come in front. Thank you, Professor Prakash and Professor Murugesan. So Professor Prakash has come all the way from USA, and Professor Murugesan has come from Chennai. I mean, from one part of the world or India to Himachal. What a presence. Thank you so much. Our next felicitation is for Professor Prakash again. Professor Prakash, please come on up. We request Professor Murugesan to present Professor Prakash with a token of our appreciation. So one more, sir. So because you've come from US, so it's twice. Professor Murugesan, please felicitate Professor Prakash. Thank you so much. Thank you. Professor Murugesan. Thank you, sir. Please take your seat. Professor Prakash, be with us a little longer. We request Professor Aditya Nigam to please come on up and be felicitated by Professor Prakash. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Professor, do you teach any of the students here? Then definitely you should. Sir's keeping an eye. Again, we request Professor Varun to please come on up. Professor Varun. Roaring round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, keep an eye on all the students. Requesting again Professor Prakash to felicitate and present our hosting partner, which is none other than IIT Mandi. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So there's a lot of permutation combination happening, so you'll have to as many combinations as can be. Stunning. Professor Prakash, please take a seat. Professor Varun, be with us a little longer. Requesting Professor Vallaramati to please come on up. Ma'am, big round of applause. All the way from Chennai. Thank you, Professor Vallaramati. Thank you so much. Requesting Major Madan Kumar to please come on up. And of course, Professor Varun, please stay with us a little long. Sir, aap utariyega nahi. This is, today you'll have to be with me on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Chennai, Major Madan Kumar, thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you, Major Madan. Requesting Dr. David Daniel, please come on up. Sir, thank you so much for your time, all the way from Chennai again. Oh, Delhi, but originally from Chennai. And requesting Professor Murugesan to please come on up as well for the felicitation, along with Professor Dutt. Thank you, Dr. Daniel. Murugesan sir, be with us a little longer. The next many felicitations have to happen. Requesting Professor Tripti Singh to please come on up. Tripti ma'am, all the way from Bangalore, super excited to be here. Professor Varun and Professor Murugesan, please present Professor Singh with the token of our appreciation. Thank you, Professor Singh. Gentlemen, please stay with us a little longer. Requesting Mrs. Prachi Garg to please come on up. Ms. Prachi Garg, all the way from Delhi. Yes. Thank you, Professor Dutt. You may please take your seat. Requesting Professor Prakash, sir, Murugesan sir, please you stay. Professor Prakash, please come on up. And we'd like to call on stage Mr. Hari Shankar. Mr. Hari Shankar. Thank you, Mr. Shankar. And of course, we'd like to end this heartfelt felicitation. Mr. Arnav Bhavsar, we'd like to call on stage Professor Arnav Bhavsar. All right, so as and when Professor comes on stage, we present him with the token of our appreciation. Yes. All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you. You can thank me for your cardio, 15 minutes cardio in the morning. I think we've covered that. Yes. We'd like to call on stage Mrs. Manjula as well. Mrs. Manjula, ma'am, all the way from Chennai. Presenting Mrs. Manjula with the token of our appreciation. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Manjula, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Okay, so before we begin with, all these leaders who's come all the way from the other part of the world as well as India, just to get a chance to have a one-on-one with you. I want to know from the students, how many of you are from IIT Mandi? Very quickly, can we have a round of applause? How many of you from outside? Oh, okay, so who's come the farthest? I mean, you cannot beat USA, but still, who has come the farthest to get themselves a seat here? So I come from Mumbai. So let's start the bidding from Mumbai. Is there anybody who's come farther than Mumbai? Oh, Bangalore. Anybody beating Bangalore? Bangalore. Arre, wow. IIT? Raipur. Arre, wow. Which state are you from? I want to know the state. Chhattisgarh. Wow, wow. Leaders, IEEE and IIT Mandi, you see, you've got students coming from far and wide. Okay, who thinks they've had the toughest journey to come here? How? Ship. Then first I took one boat, then I took one train, then I sat on a yak. No, how was it? Oh, it was tough, but how was it? Like what mode? Huh? 10 hours. Professor Dutt, this is the dedication. There are children, there are students spending 10 hours. Fantastic. See, the only reason we did this is to see how much of the love and admiration that you have for us today. So thank you, students, and not students, they're scholars. Thank you, scholars. You make us proud and making India proud as well. And on that note, we request Professor Prakash, all the way from USA. We request Professor Prakash to please come on up, and your fans, your patrons, the students and scholars who are here, we request you to please have a one-on-one with them. Sure. Professor Prakash, over to you.
Good morning, all. It's my pleasure and it's my honor to be here. I'm very happy to see the students travel all the way from different parts of the country. I'm extremely happy, particularly in this 15th edition. So I have seen a lot of changes over past 15 years, starting from the first ICCC. So this is a special event for me because of the location. I was very curious whether the papers will come or not, but Mandi have set a record of almost we received 5,400 papers, which we moved to one of the largest conference in Asia. So IIT Mandi became a huge milestone in the ICCC's records. So I'm very proud of IIT Mandi and Professor Varun. They have really contributed a significant role for the researchers, scholars, and the people all around the world. So we got a wide diversity of papers globally, not from India. Globally, we received papers almost from 43 countries. And we have almost 75 tracks, and we received most of the we got the papers for all the tracks. And in specific, we got more papers for machine learning, deep learning, and other emerging technologies. So in addition, we got a co-sponsor from 3 societies like electronic packaging, professional communication, and industrial application societies. So these societies made a significant contribution in bringing up cutting-edge technologies and the new tracks where the scholars have an opportunity to present their researchers. So, and I saw a lot of authors published with the different countries. They co-authored with interdisciplinary departments. So I'm very happy to see we are competing with global conferences. So I'm very happy to see the changes happening every year and without losing any qualities. So I think slowly I'm expecting this conference will move towards in a larger extent of competing the global high-end conferences like CVPR or ICIP. So we are on the halfway mark, and most of the professors here are my professors. So whatever I learned, whatever I achieved, it's all I learned from them. So I'm happy to contribute this to them. So Professor Kamesh, chief guest, is my professor, one of my PhD advisor. I'm tributing this to Kamesh and Buckles and Jackson. Sir, please. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you have a big round of applause for Professor Prakash? Okay. So yes, the journey that Professor Prakash was mentioning started 15 years back about his computing Communication Networking Technologies, that is International Computing, Communication and Networking Technology. 15 years back this IP was made. Professor Prakash was, the father of this beautiful IP. So in the next 3 years, your child is going to be officially an adult. So firstly, many congratulations to you. Can we have a big round of applause for Professor Prakash? Because to have that vision 15 years back, that I want a conference that is would give any conference, any organization a run for its money when it comes to being the best in India and just about the entire of Asia, and getting together the best of minds that India has to provide is fantastic. So thank you so much for your genius. And of course, Professor Prakash is absolutely humbled and honored to have, and so are we, Professor Kamesh Namudriji. Professor Kamesh, thank you so much for being such a great mentor to Professor Prakash. And of course, the audience awaits. We'd love for you to come on up and have a one-on-one with the brilliance that is here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to see all of you in this conference. I would like to share a few words. S. Prakash was my student. Just like when we meet students, we ask, what do you want to become? Usually everyone starts with a small dream, and then they grow into that. Some people want to say, okay, I want to become a CEO of a company, or some people want to become maybe a scientist, or maybe contribute some way or other. So I didn't expect this, but Prakash, as a student, actually, he started this conference, and it's kind of unusual, to imagine or to visualize organizing and creating a foundation or something like that, and then build that to this level. So it has been 15 years, and I have seen this conference growing from maybe tens of participants to now thousands, and then number of articles going from maybe once again tens to thousands. So collecting about 5,000 articles and 5,000 and plus, it's not easy, and then comes with a lot of preparation, right? You need to prepare for it. Typically, a conference, the idea of a conference starts about a year ago. For example, next year's conference already began, the preparations began, and a lot of hard work. Like there is a team of reviewers, there is a team of a steering committee, there is a technical committee, and organizing committee. So with all this, it's like a it's like almost like thousands of people working in the background. In fact, when I came here, I need to give it just one talk probably. Maybe I'll spend a couple of hours, but how much preparation? Several months of preparation. In fact, yesterday I had a chance to tour the place, and I found people, preparing these bags, preparing these lunch coupons, preparing the agenda. So it's a significant work, and all of you are actually taking time off from your research work. So thank you for doing all this. And Prakash, as far as Prakash, it's a significant achievement. From first conference to 15th conference, I have seen the growth of this conference from quality point of view and quantity point of view. And yesterday I was talking to Prakash, the committee actually thinking about having workshops, tutorials, exhibitions, and I think the scale is going to be maybe next year you're going to see a much bigger conference with a lot of value additions. It's not just coming to the conference and seeing some PowerPoint presentations, but Prakash, in his own words, he says, people have to take something back from this conference. They have to remember. They have to keep this. They have to consider this as a memorable event. So he's making all these preparations, and he wants to take this as not only as a founder, but a builder of this association. So I wish you all the best, Prakash. And of course, without help from IIT Mandi, it would not have been possible. So I look forward to the success of this conference. Thank you.
Professor Prakash is officially living his dream today to have your mentor and teacher come and celebrate you in this August event. I mean, what a day, what a day. Can you have a big round of applause for Professor Kamesh? You know, students, we were having a conversation with Professor Kamesh yesterday, and the students, the scholars from Bangalore said they had a tough route to, you know, travel. But let me tell you, Professor Kamesh has traveled from USA, then he's come by car from Delhi to Himachal. Sir knew that this question will be asked, so I need to travel via the toughest route, so I win. That is indeed very tough. Thank you, Professor Kamesh again for your presence. We request Professor Murugesan to please come on up and share his experience and his knowledge with a beautiful audience. Can we have a big roaring round of applause for Professor Murugesan? Sir, stage is all yours. Thank you so much.
Respected dignitaries in front of me, dear participants, and there are a lot of participants are participating, watching this inaugural event online through streaming. Good morning to every one of you. It is a great pleasure for me to be part of this conference in association with Dr. Varun, Dr. Prakash, etc., and all the organizing team. It is a special conference for us, though we conducted 14 conferences already. This 15th conference is a very special conference for all of us, all the organizing team, because of some reason. One reason is Professor Varun. Dr. Varun has come down to the bottom, ground level, and made all the arrangements very neatly, effectively, appropriately. So it is a great work done by Professor Varun. So we are really thank and appreciate our Professor Varun for everything, for doing this wonderful conference in a nice way. And another reason for the special thing, special conference is diversity, quality and quantity. Quantity, already Prakash mentioned, this is the highest paper we received, 5,400 articles from 44 countries. Apart from the quantity, the very important part is the quality. We actually have three basic criteria to select a paper. One is plagiarism. Very strongly we check the plagiarism. Second one is the innovation. And the third one is the style of writing. And if you look at the papers of 5,400, see, really, if you look at the quality, it has been improved a lot. See, it was a tough time for the reviewers. A big group of reviewers, about 400 plus reviewers involved in it. So it was a tough time to reduce the paper to about 2,500 plus. So about roughly about 50% been selected, and it is informed. So the quality is also very good. And the third is the diversity, of course. All the parts of India, all the parts of world. So that is another one very happy information what we observed in this conference. And we are looking for the next level, because there are young researchers, lots and lots of young researchers. They are giving their innovation in the form of paper. This has to be converted into a solution for the problems. Tangibly, it has to be converted into projects, products, etc. So in order to convert this into a tangible format in the form of products, we are thinking of bringing a lot of industries, associating a lot of industries with our conference. So that is our next aim. Our founder, Prakash, is thinking of bringing about 1,000 companies, 1,000 industries to the next conference. It is a very big, aim. So initially we thought, even if you look at the number of papers, initially we thought the 1,000 papers is very good. Even 500 papers is very good. Then we reached this 5,500 mark. Similarly, bringing the number of industries. Now if you look at bringing 1,000 companies, it's a very great job. But I think with the visionaries like Prakash and our team, I think it is possible, and we will bring more companies, and the conversion of this research innovation into the solution for the problems for our society, that will happen. So that is our aim of this conference. With this, I wish all the participants a good stay and fruitful days for these 5 days. Wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a bigger round of applause for Professor Murugesan. Professor, you mentioned many years back getting 1,000 research papers itself was a dream, and now you're just simply, 5,000 is a reality. So I'm sure by the 17th or the 18th ICCC-NT, 1,000 industries will be like, oh yeah, once upon a time we had a target of 1,000 industries, and now look, 5,000 industries are coming in. And they will, right, because of leaders like you and because of brains and gems like these. So thank you so much, Professor Murugesan. What a pleasure to have you with us. We now request Dr. Daniel, Senior Advisor, USI of India, to please come on up. Dr. Daniel, the students await, everybody awaits, stage is all yours. Thank you so much.
Greetings to all, and we are here and in online as well. I tender my sincere appreciation to the 15th ICC-NT Organizing Committee, Exhibition Committee, local co-chair, technical, magazine, finally the local chair. Today, society and education. Earlier, it used to change after every war and clash of civilization. But today, after the globalization, particularly, we are enjoying relatively a stable political ambience. This situation, political stability, give ample conducive climate for advancement of education, research, innovation. And because of the same, it is the speed of the innovation, the achievement through education have accelerated phenomenally, that the innovations and research are overbeaten or outflanked, or theories are proved wrong or augmented in the very same decade. Earlier, it used to take 30 years, 70 years, or one generation, which means the day you join the college, before you finish the PhD, your first year education is a matter of question. How we can equip ourselves in this scenario? Please go out of conventional module. For example, keep reading, keep attending conference like this, compete yourself, know your strength, know your height, know your shortfall. Never ever apply a poison called ego. Please keep your brain open like a treasure box. Even you go, please take one knowledge back home and never close it with a attitude called ego. Now, 2 key things. Wherever you go, keep it forever in your life. Number 1, get your basics right for the entire life. 2, equip yourself periodically, every 5 years, studying about your stream knowledge with interdisciplinary applications. And what is the basic of life? We all know our stream knowledge. In life, in the whole world, human beings have to live or come across 5 basic institutions: family and marriage, religion, education, economy, and governance. This governance is going to rule all the 4 institutions. Today, you guys are born in the family, you have your own faith system, you are studying in education. Soon you will get into the next 4th institution called economy, and never ever put a blindfold set for the donkeys and horses, and never fail to look at the 5th institution, the governance. Why we have to look into the 5th governance? Let me explain and validate. In the whole world, local Panchayat Raj, Legislative Assembly, Member of Parliament, and in the whole world, 193 countries come to the power center called Global Governance, United Nations. And that's where $110 trillion annual industry directions are discussed. Rather than the law graduates, rather than the political aspirants, rather than the bureaucrats, you the technicians, you the technocrats have to go there to the United Nations to set the policy right for 8 billion population. And this is the mud. India with 18.5% population is a survival of fittest. If you survive in India, you can survive in any dominion and any ambience. I encourage you, never ever put a blindfold towards the fifth institution, politics or the governance. And don't look into the bad politics, please look into the positive, contributive politics. And finally, in India, 240,000 plus PhD students are coming out every year, inclusive of humanities and engineering, 4,000 engineering colleges and polytechnics, and tentatively 1.4 million populations like you are coming out. And imagine, either you will lost in the race or you will be disqualified in the name of repetition or a plagiarism or a lack of quality or a lack of imagination. Please keep yourself new among 1.5 million probability. Do the max, identify the closer relative interdisciplinary knowledge and equip yourself. When you can confidently conduct yourself, when you know the global layers of the governance, prepare yourself. After you all studied, you will get into the companies, and all the companies in India and 193 countries are governed by 3-letter SDG. Is it not right? Sustainable Development Goal. And ESG, Environment, Social and Governance. Equip yourself, don't put blindfold. Now, hence, dear students, let's learn maximum from the class, from the teachers, from the parents, from the education, from the economy, from the governance, from exclusive 5,000 plus brains conglomerating this conference. I sincerely tender my appreciation to the organizing committee, and I tender my hearty wishes to all the young bright students. If you fail, if you fall, you are equipping your muscle. You are equipping your fragile identity. You are equipping yourself, your mindset. I come from a family which struggles to find 1,100 meals a year. Why? My father was a laborer. In a year, 9 months, we get the job. 2 to 3 months, he has to struggle out of industry lockout. At that time, we don't eat 3 times a day. So my average meal in a year is not even 900. And today, I'm affordable to spend at least $1,500 to take my wife and my dear children. So equip yourself only with one, detox yourself. Never ever ego in pursuit of knowledge. It'll keep you ahead, and never put the blindfold to the global governance. May God bless you all and fulfill your wishes. And may this conference be an enabler for you all. Thank you for this opportunity.
Dr. Daniel, you had the entire crowd mesmerized. Let me tell you, a bigger round of applause for Dr. Daniel. How fantastic was that? Whenever, sir, just let us know 5 years in advance, when are you planning to start your own political party? We know who to vote. 5 years from now, I know. Dr. Daniel for Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also just tell you, right, Himachal is a tough terrain. Sometimes network is a little choppy. Do you also find that? Internet can be a little difficult. Hai na? Give me a yes or a no. Yes. So in case for your research, Google, ChatGPT, Wikipedia does not work, Dr. Daniel is right there. He's a walking ChatGPT. Any question you have, Dr. Daniel, for your rescue. Thank you so much again, sir. What palpable emotions and what experience you shared. Thank you so much. And now we bring to you the amazing Major Madan Kumar. Major Madan Kumar, thank you so much for the honor. Thank you so much for serving the country. And we'd love for you to share your experience with this brilliant crowd. Stage is all yours, sir. Thank you so much.
Jai Hind, good morning everyone. I hope all of us had a nice breakfast. Show some energy. Jai Hind. Thank you. First of all, I really thank for all the great work done in IIT Mandi by Professor Varun and Team IIT, the researchers who are here, who went all the way out to make such a wonderful arrangement, such a very short span of time, in the absence of the organizing committee of ICCC. Thank you, sir, and for your team. And I really appreciate each and every one of you present here, and those who of us have been watching online, and participants from across the globe who have been who have really taken this opportunity to present your papers, research papers in various streams. I've gone through it. It is like it's a wealth of knowledge. I am here to gain knowledge from each and every one of you. It's a golden opportunity for me as such. So shortly, Daniel sir gave you a very, very specific input about, you know, the involvement of youth in politics. So we all tend to stay away from politics thinking that it's dirty. No, it's not. It decides what we eat, how much tax we pay, what we study, how long we live. So please, with your technical knowledge and with the technical prowess, also look at this particular aspect of it, because everything is intertwined in this global world. There is nothing called boundaries today. Some war happening in Ukraine, we end up paying more price for petrol and diesel. Didn't we? We did, right? Somewhere, some ship being hit in Red Sea, we tend to pay the cost here. So please do look at this part of it. So I'm just here, I'll quickly take 3 minutes to give you the future of how this ICCC will be. So yesterday night we had a lengthy discussion. We have been discussing with Dr. Prakash. He has given his vision. So we all are here to help you out. So the benchmark we are looking at is to have a 5-day event, more papers, more researchers, more challenges, more problems to be solved in this world, along with 1,000 odd companies from across the globe exhibiting their products and services, offering internships and various other opportunities to the student and the researchers community. So we expect people who are not here, this entire event is live on a YouTube link. I would request the organizer to share it. So you can pass it on to others for those who have not been aware of this particular conference. So the idea here is to get the academia, the researchers, the industry, the policymakers, which is nothing but the government, and the government agencies together. It is going to take a lot of effort. We all are here. We have been sweating it out. We will do it for you, for the sake of this country. So please make use of it. The next conference, we may start with 100 odd companies. We will try to rope in as much as possible. Logistically, whatever is feasible, we'll do it. But the vision is to hit 1,000 companies and to make this not just an academic, theoretical event, to make it a more an application-oriented event. So I'll just quickly give you 3 examples, 3 success stories of how this has worked in the past 5 years. Agnikul Cosmos. It's an IIT Madras incubated company. 2 founders, Sriram and Moin. I know them personally. So they had launched India's first private rocket, 3D printed rocket. 5 years of work, just 5 years. Just 5 years of work. So we go crazy about Elon Musk, SpaceX. Yes, of course, it's an achievement. But the US and us, considering the research and development initiative which America does, they are 50 years ahead of us. So we should be proud as an Indian. We should be proud of our youth, the Yuva Shakti, which make this happen in just 5 years at 1/10 of the cost of what a NASA or SpaceX would be doing. This event, I was invited for the launch. Not one day, the launch happens in Sriharikota early morning. They have been repeatedly failing. The failures like unimaginable. At one point of time, I felt like rain. 7 o'clock, 6:59, the launch was supposed to happen, and 6:57 it was aborted for some technical reasons. 10 days before, they got it right. The first flight was for 2 minutes and some seconds. As planned, the mission was successful. In less than 3 years, They would be launching private satellites, low Earth orbit satellites, LEO satellites we call, to the space. Now the global companies, the investors, the sharks, everybody wants to come and invest. Second success story, an institution called Amrita Institute of Engineering from Coimbatore. So we all know in the year of 2019 on the Valentine's Day, 5th of February 14th, we lost 40 of our soldiers in Kashmir, in Pulwama, right? So we actually couldn't find their bodies intact. It was all scattered. Somebody somewhere thought about this. Can we do something for this? Can we stop this? So Professor Shantanu Bhaumik and his team of researchers, scholars, people like you, they have developed a composite material which is blast proof, which is fireproof, which is bulletproof. This composite has been extensively trialed at plus 50 to plus 55 temperature, Badmer, to minus 55 to 65 temperature in Siachen Glacier. It has been put under the most rigorous possible test by the Indian Army, and finally, 4 days before, this has been approved by the Chief of Defense Staff and the National Security Advisor of the country. The salient aspect of this, it's bulletproof, it's fireproof, it is blast proof. It has matched NATO level 2 standards. It's just not a joke. Matching, qualifying for NATO level 2 standard, which simply means 5 kg of explosive, if the blast happens here, it can insulate the human life. If it's shielded, all the vehicles are shielded by this composite, it can insulate, it would have saved 40 of our valuable soldiers' life. It will be eventually used everywhere, and this is 1/3 of a weight of a conventional metal body proof or an armor. We call it as bulletproof, right? So it's just 1/3 of it by weight, and by cost it's 1/5 of it. This was made possible by 7 researchers over a period of 4 years. Third, we have seen the change in battlefield today. The conventional weapons, yes, it has taken a hit. We have seen in Ukraine a small drone which costs less than 50 lakhs takes a Leopard tank just like that, a 300 crore worth tank. So it's a disruptive warfare. We have seen it in logistics. Companies like Uber, Ola, who doesn't own a cab, have completely disrupted the industry. Similarly, this particular drone warfare was there, and I had a heated argument with a Chinese scholar. He said India is nowhere. Precisely, this was in 2021 in an online conference where I lost my cool. I said, we will do this. 2024, a company called New Space India, Bangalore-based startup, they had made, yesterday I was discussing with Dr. Daniel, it's called High Altitude Long Endurance UAV, Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, with conventional term we call it as drone. HAIL, it's called HAIL. You can Google it, you can Google the company. They have done the test. Only 3 countries in the world have done this test successfully, and we are number 2 in level of standards. It can fly autonomously for 19 hours at an altitude of 50,000 feet above. It replaces the expensive satellite systems. It's an alternative for a very expensive American systems like P-8I Poseidon aircraft, which we buy for $1.3 billion. All these things happened in a span of 3 to 5 years. Why am I giving you this 3 success stories? We don't know how many success stories will come from here. We are here to facilitate. We have the platform. The country is growing at a very, very rapid pace. We are the fastest growing economy in the world. We are the most stable political structure now. Security wise, we are far, far safer than any of the countries in the world. You are at the right spot. Daniel sir just shared that at his young age, he fought for the 3 meal. Now we are trying to cut down meals, right? You just at a click of a button, we can have things. So your social comfort, security, everything has been ensured. Now the playground is yours to go and achieve the dreams you aspire and the nation aspires. Wish you all a very, very good luck. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Major Madan Kumar. And of course, unsolicited, I mean, Major has no role into this. But let me tell you, if you want a deep dive into India's and Bharat's geopolitical, absolutely unbiased review, do subscribe to Major Kumar's YouTube channel. He's an absolute celebrity. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Do check it out. Yeah, so this is exactly what we do. Major, I tell everybody to subscribe to Major Kumar's channel, and then sir says, oh yeah, subscribe to Nikita's channel as well. Thank you so much. Thanks. Now we request Professor Aditya Nigam to please come on up. Professor Nigam, thank you so much. And you know, the hosting. Thank you so much to IIT Mandi for hosting this beautiful conference. And yeah, it will be a very different from the sessions that you take on a daily basis, or the same. hopefully different. Sir, stage is all yours. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you very much. And from IIT Mandi part, I would like to welcome all of you in our beautiful campus. And as the whole India, you can see it's right now having very high temperatures. As soon as you reach here inside this campus, I mean, this is the only place where we used to have our AC facility working, because we usually do not need AC. In fact, we don't have that thing in our houses as well. But the environment, as you can see, that's very conducive. The environment, I mean, this is the everyday routine that we keep up in the morning and have this beautiful air, and then we start our learning. Every day we need to learn, and I mean, about this conference, I remember Prakash, and I guess that he's the first. I was probably the first one he discussed, maybe in 2021 or 2022, when he was having that online conference, and he said that okay, let's start. And at that point of time, COVID and all, it was a big thing, and we said that okay, let us have it. And then 2023, probably we met at IIT Delhi. Let me tell you, I mean, we as an academician, I'm going to talk as we have Daniel in between, then we have Professor Major. I'll be probably talking as pure academician. So just think about that, these numbers. I mean, 5,400, it's a huge number. In fact, usually in a paper there are almost like 2 to 3 persons working. So 5,000 multiplied by 3, 15. To understand these many number of persons are trying to achieve certain things over here. That's the first thing. 75 tracks. It's insane. And then 40 plus countries having the contribution. So this all credit goes to Professor Prakash. And I clearly remember that whenever I discuss anything to him about this conference, I felt that he's really passionate about how to manage this conference, how to get numbers going. And let me tell you one more thing that about Dr. Varun is that, you know, he, as Professor Murugesan has rightly said, I mean, he accoladed for him, he meticulously worked on most of the things. And you may not be aware that he is involved in at least more than 5 crore or maybe that many number of projects, 5 crore INR funding, maybe more than that. I may be wrong. He is having 40 plus student group. Even if he spare one day for it, 10 plus or maybe more PhD students, even if he started to talk to all of them in a day, 7 days, every day he has to meet 2 students. Along with that, he is having teaching load and other stuff, Dora, and I don't know how many things that this guy is doing. And then after that, he managed all that stuff in the best possible, and he never complained. Being the chair of the School of Computing and Electrical Engineering, I see that whenever we need his help for academic as well as for any type of activities that we wanted to have inside our campus, Varun is always available. He keep on helping me as well as the whole school whenever it's required. One key thing that I wanted to say about those who are coming over here, all of those who are attending this workshop, this conference, the issue is that, and very well said by Professor Prakash, that he has given 2-3 names like CVPR, IC, IP, CBPR, then we talk about ECCV, ICCV, these are mainstream conferences which are happening, in fact, in the area of computer vision. And then you have other conferences, multimedia and ICLR and all these big conferences. Believe me, getting numbers of like 5,000 is not possible. Any emerging conference, and he has spent huge amount of time to just manage this number. Once you got that, now he can talk about the quality. Now you can choose whatever the number of papers that you want. So this is something really encouraging and inspiring, because I have seen that getting 100 papers in a conference is very difficult. I am involved in so many different conferences and workshops. Getting 100, it's a very difficult number. Cultivation of the idea is something that you can think about, that if you got the names of certain big conferences and you aspire to be a good researcher, and those who are sitting and maybe listening online our talk, that these are the names, you are looking to go over there. The cultivation of your idea and the dream started over here. You can think about that, okay, I need to get this paper, I need to work on such problems. And as success stories given by Major, you can have your own success story. Started a simple dream of your idea, simple dream of being a researcher, simple dream of being someone who is standing in a very big stadium or a conference room in where there are thousands of persons are sitting and just listening to you and your idea. Just think about that. If this is your dream, this is the right place from which you probably can start, and think about that, okay, what are the new things that you can do? How can you impress? How can you impress yourself, and then how can you impress the other community? So cultivation of idea is what I felt is the thing that you can think about, and think about that in the upcoming 4 to 5 years, what you can do. With these words, I'd like to thank the Dr. Prakash and Dr. Varun and Professor Murugesan that they have spent huge amount of time to manage all that stuff. And I'm really thankful that from IIT Mandi side, Dr. Varun was there. I didn't have to do anything at all. I was just like, coming. He said that in the morning, you please come. I'm very thankful that he has managed all the stuff in the best possible way. And if you have any issues, and so I'm always available. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Atya. But not so soon. Please come on up again, sir. We request you to please come on up. Ladies, sir, please come on stage with us a little longer. I don't know what is the apprehension to not be in the spotlight. So this is where you belong. Professor Aditya mentioned Professor Varun handles 5,000 INR research projects. Sir, giving up anchoring from today. Where do I send my resume? Just let me know. Sir, unka email ID, if you can just, I will take it later, not a problem. No, I will complete this project, 5-day conference, then I'll send my resume. Dr. Prakash, not to worry. Fantastic, thank you. Can we have a big round of applause for Professor Atya and Professor Varun? What stalwarts IIT Mandi has. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the leader that you see in front of you is the head of Department of School of Computing and Electrical Engineering, and has been awarded as one of the best teachers. My God, Professor Aditya. Sir, ek sawal, one question for you for sure. What is that one quality that you have that you think is the reason why you got the award? Yeah.
So this is the room into which we every day teach. Its room is usually full, more than 300 students. And as you have said, the quality, director also have said the thing. And I think that that's the quality owned by each and every academician, that teaching is not a profession for us. Teaching is just a passion. So we don't teach for money. We don't even know that. I mean, several times I keep on saying this thing to several of the other persons that, okay, I'm really very happy that I teach and I go and teach to other students, and I used to get money for that because I'm ready to teach for free. I don't need money for that. That's not a profession for us. So that's the only thing.
Ye line, this should not have been on mic. Professor Varun is making notes. No. I mean, See, that is, now that you've identified your passion, something that you won't do, that you will do for free, never do it for free, sir. And that's exactly what you're getting paid handsomely. Thank you so much for your service, and many congratulations on the award, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we now present to you Professor Varun, Head of ICHMA Department, Indian Knowledge Systems and Mental Health Applications. He's a pioneer in cognitive science, economics, and decision making. Special focus on computational and experimentation models. Sir, what a heavy duty. We request Dr. Prakash. Sir, my God, what is this? Professor Aditya refuses. He's like, if I am teaching, only then I will be on stage. So, sir, please come on up again. We request Dr. Prakash. Sir, a thank you note from your end, IEEE thanking such amazing teachers, sir. Something from your end for Professor Aditya.
So, a small seed will lead into a big tree. So I'm very, very thankful to Aditya because he accepted my LinkedIn invitation like 4 years ago. So through him only I came to know Varun and IIT Mandi. So this event is happening because of Aditya. So on behalf of me and Varun, I heartily thank him. Thank you, sir. And he contributed for past 3 years to IEEE, and he visited all the way to Delhi for the 14th edition. I think Varun was busy in some other event. So he, on IIT Mandi always contributed something for past 3 years. I'm very, very thankful to that. Thank you so much, sir.
And thank you, Professor Aditya. And of course, presenting to you, Head of ICHMA Department, Indian Knowledge Systems and Mental Health Applications, is the pioneer in cognitive science, economics, and decision making, with a special focus on computational and experimentation models. Professor Varun, is there something that you haven't done? Your bio just keeps going on and on and on. Absolutely amazing. With a big roaring round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you none other than Professor Varun Dutt. So, what a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Stage is all yours, sir.
So I would request the AV team to switch on the PPT, but while they are doing it, I would like to say a few words. Firstly, a warm welcome to all the participants who have traveled from Bangalore and other places, Raipur and Bhopal. It's a really good, it's a pleasure for us to host you. I hope you have very memorable times at IIT Mandi. At the same time, you make best use of this opportunity and conference. See, generally when I go to conferences as a student, I generally, when I used to go as a student long time back, I used to say, oh, my turn will come and I will make a presentation. But you will realize that conference is also an opportunity for networking, for getting to know what others are doing, for getting newer ideas, for creating. So when you go back, you kind of say, oh, wow, I heard this, I heard that model, I had that machine learning idea, that guy was doing this. So it also gives you ideas to take back and also contribute from your side, your ideas. So it's a very good opportunity for, coming together, learning from each other, and making best use of this opportunity. So please do that. Firstly, I'd like to thank Professor Kamesh for coming all the way from North Texas to help us be the chief guest at the event. I know Professor Prakash and I go back 2 to 3 years back when the 13th and the 12th edition happened. We were in COVID times. I would like to credit Professor Prakash. I started an area of work called social robotics. He was the one who actually inspired me into it. He brought me to robots like Furhat, Misty, and of course, and then I went on and on and on, and now I'm doing things which are just 5,000 rupees, 2 servo motors, and through recyclable material and all that. But credit to you to give me a new area where I could guide students, and I'm happy I have 2 PhD students working in that area now in 3 years. So thank you so much from my bot. And then of course, you have led the conference and you have shown how we can grow. I remember Prakash telling me, Varun, how many papers we will get? Said, if we get 1,000, I'll be amazed. Then he calls me and says, Varun, you know how many we have? I said, how many? Said 5,000, so many. I said, are you serious? We have got that many. And then it was like a conversation, but then sunk in. And then we were able to review these papers. It was a mammoth exercise. And I was really amazed to see we did all the diligence, plagiarism, review comments, and getting you feedback on your writing. And then some of you actually came here and some of you are online. So without delay, of course, I would also like to thank all other dignitaries present who have made it from different parts of the country and who have spoken, and my colleague, Professor Aditya Nigam, for making it here and saying such good words. Thank you, sir. So can I switch to the PPT? Okay. Yes, so as conference chair, it's my responsibility to bring you up to speed on what will happen in the next 4 to 5 days and what you will get out of it. Of course, this is just a small tip of the iceberg, but you can get much more out of it. So as you can see, this conference, as it shows, there have been more achievements. Some of the achievements are, we already got IEEE Packaging Society, IEEE Professional Communication Society, IEEE Industry Applications Society supporting us. And with effort from Prakash, they have also helped us that if we get good quality papers, some of the top quality papers, they would even like to take it to the transactions of these societies. So this is another achievement. I would like to applaud Prakash and the team for making this possible. We were discussing if we could get special issues or things, and then this happened. Another thing I would like to say is that there is this conference website which you can visit and get to know about when is your presentation and when other people's presentations. It has a search window where you can search and you can find papers. Now, without delay, let me move ahead. So I want to tell you that there are basically 3 arms of this conference, and these 3 arms are the computing, communication, and networking. And the computing arm, as you can see, has all the areas, the bread and butter areas, including areas like AI, quantum photonics, cyber security, which are also very niche. In communication, we have professional communication, we have wireless, we have optical, you have all flavors, including 5G, 6G, and beyond. And this terahertz communication, green communication networks, and cognitive radio. So you will get flavor of papers in this event across these themes. You may be working in some of these areas, you may be working in one of these areas. So my suggestion as a conference chair is definitely look for talks of your area, go through the paper titles, see which ones are relevant, which excite you, which are your area, and of course attend other areas as well. I always like to appreciate and learn. That's how we add areas to our research. Then we have networking, and one thing in the networking, as you know, social networks is a big research area. Twitter, Facebook, and of course WhatsApp. And then how we can use these media to communicate but analyze information, wireless networking, network security, and a number of networking topics. And AI ML, of course I work in AI ML, I don't want to preach it, but you will see that it is there present across different aspects. So it can be like a tool. So this is a coverage of different areas, and it may be that a few areas, something happened. Okay, I think you can still see both sides, and this should be coming up as well. So here we have these areas, and please notice that this is quite a bit. Then I would like to tell you about the different events happening on day 1. Today we are day 1, and you can see at 10:30 a.m., which is right about time, we are about 9 minutes or so late, but we will be ending this session. And then there will be a plenary session. There will be a tea coffee break. You must be tired coming from long distances, so you can replenish yourself with some cookies and tea. We will be starting at 11 a.m. with plenary talk by Professor Kamesh, and he'll be telling us about flying cars, which is a concept coming up. I saw one flying in Middle East recently, but of course now it's not a fiction anymore. And then it will be followed by a video lecture from the director of one of the IEEE societies, and then we will have Prachi ji giving us a talk on industry perspective, on how industry looks at computing, communication and networking. This will be followed by a lunch break, and then we will start from after lunch. We will be starting the bread and butter parallel sessions, where you all will have opportunities to tell about your research in 12 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. Please keep your slides fewer, 10 to 12, not more, and keep to the time. There are chairs of those sessions, and they will make sure that if you go long, they may cut you short. So keep yourself on time. And then these parallel sessions will continue with a tea break in between, and this ritual will happen from day 2 to day 4. So you will have from 9 a.m. in the morning way down to 5 p.m. every day, from 25th to 27th, these talks, paper presentation and discussions. There may be a few panel discussions which we can discuss as opportunity arises. If there is one, we will let you know. If we see something interesting, we will definitely let you know. There will be a lunch break, and that would be followed by, so please note down the lunch breaks and the tea and coffee breaks. The lunch is served, okay, the breakfast, lunch, snacks in the evening, and your dinner is served in the Oak Mess. If you do not know where it is, don't worry, I will show you right now in a few slides. It's the place which you can go, and in your kit you will be given some food coupons. Please do not forget them. You will need them, because if you don't have them, the guy may say, well, how can I say you are part of the conference? So keep your food coupons, don't share it, keep it safe and with you. Okay, so so your 4 meals, your breakfast, your lunch, your snacks in the evening, and your dinner is served in the mess, the Oak Mess. And then there are 2 tea breaks, and the tea breaks happen right outside here. The first one coming up just after I end, and a few more speakers will be right outside. And then there will be some tea breaks in the A17 building where the parallel sessions happen, which is the building which you came from when you cross the bridge. And remember that on day 5, we have a lunch break, and then that is followed by a closing ceremony between, we call it valedictory ceremony, between 1:30 p.m. and 2 p.m. And this is where we will look at, summarize, capture what we have learned over these 5 days, and move ahead and look at what we can do next. So please make best use of this opportunity, this conference, network, make new friends, get to know about new areas, So just to summarize, 5-day, we had so many submissions. We had strongly accepted 663 papers. Of course, Professor Kamesh, I have already introduced. He works in the Autonomous Systems Laboratory, and he's a pioneer in the urban air mobility. We'll hear him. And then we also have Prakash. Of course, he has very diverse areas from computer vision, graphics, LIDAR, robotics. We also had a very nice talk in the morning from Professor Behera, our Honorable Director. I'd like to thank him again for his time and his commitment. He is not on campus, but he was able to connect from a remote area and give us a few words. Okay, so these are some of the people. Don't worry, you will see their faces in the Oak Mess outside, and we are all here, and we are very accessible. So don't shy away. If you have a question, you want to meet, you want to talk about some area, please make use of this opportunity. And some of the people have already been introduced, so I would like to just mention that we also have Professor Arvind. He is from Shulini University. He'll be coming in the evening today, and he'll also be on campus. And we also have Professor Bhavsar, Arnab Bhavsar. He's my colleague. He's the head of the IKSHMA Center. And he is the one who will also be chairing some sessions post-lunch. So this is the bread and butter. So let me tell you, so just to give you a perspective, this is the plan, the top view, as an engineer you may have heard from Google Maps of our North Campus. So here we have the C.V. Raman Guest House, and this is where, basically this is the road you took to come to the campus. This road, you cross the bridge and you came. And there's a security post. If they stop you, you can say this is for ICCC conference, and the guard would understand. But let me tell you, so there is a bus stop here. This bus is actually not only for campus residents, you can also use it. It goes to Mandi town, some of the buses, and also this bus goes to our south campus, which is a separate campus about 5-6 kilometers away. So IIT Mandi actually has two campuses because of the hilly terrain, and it's distance between them is 5-6 kilometers. So the buses ply between the campuses, and then they also go to Mandi town. I want to tell you that some of you are staying, the students, of course the faculty are staying in the guest house right here, and the girls hostel is right here. And if you don't know the way or you're lost, you can always talk to a few students or check. You will find it or consult the map. This is the boys hostel right here, and the landmark is that this is the Tragopan mess here, Tragopan canteen, and the boys hostel is next door here, and the girls hostel is here. Now you get your food in the oak mess, which is right here. And not this one, but this one. This is the oak mess, and this is where the scientific activities will happen throughout the day. You will have all the parallel sessions. We are sitting right here at this moment, and your parallel sessions will be in A17. So I hope this clarifies things, and generally people do not use motored vehicles on campus. In hills people walk. And unlike campuses which have boundary walls, this campus doesn't have one. One suggestion for you is, it's a very safe place to be here. People are very honest. But one thing, remember, we are located in forest. So all this area, green, this side and that side has forest. And the forest is having all the wild animals. So remember, in the night, especially when it's their time, don't come in their way. We have some interesting wildlife. We have all kinds of wildlife, but if you see the carnivores, we have some leopards also. So they don't come and visit our campus, although it is open. But telling you that don't venture out 11 in the night or 10 in the night searching for one in the green. Okay, because then the guy is saying, why is he here? And so just to be careful in the night, walk on these roads. They are very safe, and there's no problem. You won't see any animal on the campus, but don't venture out into the forest and say, let me explore, especially in the night. Because in the night, these people wake up, they sleep in the day, and they are, they're nocturnal. And then they will be surprised as well. Okay, so I think we are good to go. Thank you. And if any questions now, of course, you can quickly ask. Otherwise, we are here to answer them. And again, I warmly welcome everyone. Thank you for your kind presence, and make best use of this opportunity. And thank you to the colleagues who have gathered. Thank you.
Professor Dutt, you just casually mentioned there are carnivore leopards walking all around with a smile on your face, as if these are street dogs. Not to worry, in case a couple of us go missing, we know where we were. Yes, yeah. Wow, people are honest. Wildlife, no comments. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for Professor Dutt? Sir, I have I've noticed one thing ever since I've met you for the first time. The aura, positivity, warmth is just exuding. So even when you're talking about carnivore animals, a smile on your face as if it's nothing. So I want to understand what is the reason behind this positivity? What is the reason behind your happiness? I mean, I want to start inculcating in my life as well. What would that be?
So, the reason behind the positivity is my ability to focus and do multitasking. And I would say that's the gift I have. I can switch between tasks very quickly. But in general, what I find, we actually had our honorable director joined and he gave a lesson in Bhagavad Gita. And one interesting thing is that our lives, it's kind of that we come without any money and we go without any money. And we have this kind of time when we have, so we should be happy. We should not fight. We should try to rationalize and try to do as best as we can from our side and serve the society. So these are some of the things I feel are good principles to remain positive. Thank you.
Absolutely. Fantastic, Professor Dutt. And just adding to the positivity would be and stay away from the forest areas. We would like to end on this note. Yes, requesting Professor Murugesan and Professor Kamesh to please come on up. Thank you so much, Professor Dutt, firstly. Thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you. And thank you for having us and requesting Professor Murugesan and Professor Kamesh to please come on up. See, IEEE in itself does not need any promotion of any kind. It's the world's largest technical community and society, all thanks to you. But speaking more about a promotional activity, we have these two leaders. Gentlemen, stage is all yours. Thank you.
Good morning again. We are going to take only about 2 to 3 minutes. Don't get afraid because it is a time for tea also. So only about 2 to 3 minutes. That is about some information. The ICCNT is keep on doing promotional activities for the IEEE societies. We know 3 societies are sponsoring us. So we have to do, as a part of ICCNT, we would like to do something for the society also, IEEE society. In that case, we invite the scholars of Professor Varun and Aditya Nigam, etc. If you want to become the member of either it is a industrial applications, IEEE Industrial Application Society, or Packaging Society, or Professional Communication Society, we would like to sponsor. So we invite the scholars to come forward and get the membership, free membership from our side. This is one thing. And also we are elevating the membership, IEEE membership from member to senior member. For your information, in the past about 8 months, about 9 of our people who are involving in the organizing team and others elevated from member into senior members, including Valarmadi Madam, Tripti Singh, and many others. And now Professor Kamesh is going towards the fellow. So we are applying and we are looking for the fellow. So this type of promotional activities also we are doing. So this is one continuous activity we will be following altogether.
Let me add few more words. IEEE is the largest technical organization with 400,000 members. So there are several societies, whatever your passion, for example, you're in a core area like communications, controls, or computers, or computing. I'm a member of Communication Society, Signal Processing Society, Standards Association, and Vehicular Technology. Some of them are new areas, and there is a lot of room for innovation. You can actually give a lot of input to the society. It's all volunteer organization. It's a volunteer organization, and you will see the benefit as you grow. You grow with the society. For example, I think it's highly recommended that all of you become student members. And then, as Professor Murugesan mentioned, we are going to support you in whatever whatever way you need. For example, if you are a member, then we can help you to become a senior member. It doesn't take much time, few reference letters, and then applying for a fellow. That's your ultimate goal. It's, I think, if I'm correct, it's 0.001% of the society members they become the fellows. It's a tough process. I just applied, so sometimes it make multiple attempts. But the point is, that's your goal. That means you will be recognized for your significant contributions in any one field, one topic. Anyway, if anybody needs some more input, please feel free to talk to me or talk to any of us. Yep.
So, thank you, Dr. Kamesh. So, in our next 16th edition, I'd like to incorporate IEEE Standard Association also. So then I want to bring more cutting edge technologies, and people wants to know more about IEEE Standard Associations. Since I also a member of that, and Kamesh also was member of that, but we like to both of us bring more awareness about that society. But if anyone wants to become a member of that, our foundation like to sponsor like up to 3 to 5 people for standard associations. Then anyone wants to become senior member, our foundation like to help, and we will discuss more about how to become fellow, at least in any one of the societies. So this will be a discussion after a couple of days with Varun and Aditya or something. Then I think if anyone interested to become IEEE student member, please let us know. We will try our best. Then thanks for joining. Let's have a break. Thank you.
One last information before tea, about 20% of the good quality paper will be taken for the transaction of IEEE transaction on Industrial Application Society. So that is one good information. So we expect, you can expect some of your papers will publish in this transaction. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, good news after the other. Thank you so much, Professor Murugesan, Professor Prakash, and Professor Kamesh. Thank you for the wonderful words. And yeah, I think I'll have to now send my resume to IIT Mandi and IEEE. Great. Thank you so much again. And of course, a group photograph awaits. It's time to remember this moment forever, requesting all the leaders of IIT Mandi and IEEE to please come on up and have a group photo. Professor Dutt, I see that the scholars have filled the seats just like they do during lectures. Last row first, first row, the last students, people who come in last. So we should have done this in the start. How about we come to this row itself, this column? Yeah, this column works. So, ma'am, C03. सर एक यहाँ लेते एक वहाँ ले लेते both sides. Ma'am, please join. I will click a photograph. Ma'am, आप जाइए, please join them. I will click a photograph, ma'am. Not a problem. Sir, I will click the photograph. How about that? I am always on stage, but I will click. Professor Dutt, I got done with my engineering in the year 2015, many years back. Many years, sir. हो गए अभी. And so thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to sit on the bench again. Yeah. Please come on up. All of you, everybody who was assembled. All the leaders are, sir, now it is time to make the audience members do cardio. Little cardio. Come on up. कैमरा वाले बहुत सस्पेंस में रख रहे हैं. बताइए तो सही, when do we smile? IT Mandi. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we now break for a very quick national drink, tea or coffee, whatever you like. And request you to kindly come on up and grab the best seats possible in the next 10 minutes. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, to all the leaders assembled outside, please treat this as the first and simultaneously last announcement to please come on up. Professor Dutt, I mean, these students just don't listen. Multiple times we've said not sitting on the last rows. How about you? Ladies and gentlemen, please come on up. Please take the rows in front. So where have you traveled from? The gentleman with black shirt. Yes. Are Kerala se Korchu Korchu Malayalam Padichu. This is the only, Professor, that this is the only line I know in Malayalam and I keep repeating. Yes. You've come so far, then make the most of it. Sit in the front rows. Yes, so the first and also simultaneously last announcement to all the scholars assembled outside, please come on up. We're starting off with a very exciting segment exclusively for all of you. Presenting to you the best, we request Professor Varun Dutt to please come on up. Professor Dutt, the most exciting part of the day begins with you, sir. Professor Dutt, stage is all yours. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritika ji. So welcome again. We are now starting our first plenary session, and let it be an exciting session. I have the honor of introducing Professor Kamesh Namuduri. Professor Kamesh Namuduri is a professor of electrical engineering and the director of the Autonomous Systems Laboratory at the University of North Texas in the US. He received his BS degrees in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Osmania University, India, way back in 1984. And then he went on to do his MS degree in Computer Science from University of Hyderabad in 1986, and his PhD degree in Computer Science and Engineering from University of South Florida in 1992. Over the past 11 years in his research has focused on aerial networking, communication. He has co-organized a series of airborne networking and communication workshops in conjunction with IEEE, AIAA, US VSI, and ACM. He is chairing two standard working groups, IEEE 1920.1, Aerial Communication and Networking, IEEE P1920.2, Vehicle-to-Vehicle Communication for Unmanned Aircraft Systems. He is the chair of the IEEE Vehicular Society, Technology Society's Ad Hoc Committee on Drones. He is a co-editor of the book UAV Networks and Communication, published by Cambridge University Press in 2017. He's leading the smart and connected community projects on deployable communication systems in collaboration with the government, public and private organizations. This living laboratory project particularly was demonstrated thrice during the Global City Teams Challenge hosted jointly by the National Institute of Standards and Technology and the US Ignite program in 2015, 16, 17 and 18. He contributed to developing the research agenda and the requirements and the blueprints of highly deployable communication systems led by the National Institutes of Standards and Technology and the National Public Safety Telecommunication Council. So Professor Namuduri has a tremendous amount of experience in areas particularly related to networking, communication, aerial, drones, and without any delay, I would like to invite him to give our plenary talk. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Varun, for the welcome message or introduction, and thank you all for being here. I'm going to share a kind of a story, for the projects that I've been involved, and especially the idea of flying taxis or air taxis. Everything starts with a seed. I think many times many people mentioned here. I think the seeds start as a student. Your dreams start when you are in college. Here is I got this excellent opportunity to engage with not just as a researcher, sitting in my room and writing technical papers, but the opportunity that was presented to me in front of me is that engaging in this exciting activity of making these what we call air taxis and air ambulances possible. In fact, for every success there is a lot of hard work. For example, even to be here, for me to be able to share the stage with you, or for all of us to gather here for attending this conference, almost like a solid 1 year work went in. Yeah, and as late as yesterday night, people have worked so far. So, and sometimes we forget. I think today morning, I was talking to my classmate of BE Usmania University. He was telling how much we paid for our college, probably a couple of thousand rupees. But then how much it would have cost for the country? Probably 4-5 lakhs. So to train an engineering student and make him a graduate, it costs a lot. And then even you put the money aside, there's so many people working behind, conceiving the project, like for example, IIT Mandi, and then what kind of infrastructure we need. So all this takes a lot of effort. And yesterday when I was touring these facilities, I was so impressed with the facilities that you have. So anyway, I was always wondering in my previous, all these years, or so, until last 10 years, probably, I was thinking, I missed this opportunity in construction field, or maybe in aerodynamics and all that. But the opportunity that we have in front of us today is that how to make this unmanned aerial vehicles offer the services. To give an example, in the city where I live, it's a big metropolitan city, Dallas-Fort Worth. If there is an accident, it seems like it takes about 5 minutes for an ambulance to come to the place, and in 15 minutes we are in the hospital. So that means you can see obviously every minute counts when there is an accident, right? Especially any trauma patient, or even at home, if something happens, if you like a brain stroke, for example, if somebody had a brain stroke, every minute counts until we go to the hospital and get the treatment. So compare that with a village, a remote village. And interestingly, next to Dallas-Fort Worth, within about 80 miles or so, we have a very deep rural area, in fact tribal area called Oklahoma State. And there is there are some places where if some emergency happens, it takes nearly 45 minutes, minimum of 45 minutes to go to take the person to the hospital. Now, the technologies that we are talking about, drones, UAVs, we call them as unmanned aircraft systems, uncrewed aircraft systems. So all these refer to different types of drones with different capabilities. So I'm going to talk about that. So we are not looking at delivering a pizza at home or delivering a book in next day. Those things, they're not really life-threatening matters. However, when it comes to life and death, if you are able to send for example, medical supplies, to the person who needs in minutes, or take the person to the hospital in minutes, that is the kind of application we are looking at. So on one hand, from commercialization point of view, air taxis are important because they can take you, when I say air taxi, you're talking about unpiloted, uncrewed aircraft system that can take you from one place to another place in shortest time possible. For example, if you're going to go to airport, then depending on the city where you live, it may take minutes or maybe hours there were, that I think everybody has experienced that. So you can cut down the time by maybe 10 times instead of taking 90 minutes, or maybe you can go to the airport in 10 minutes or 15 minutes with on an air taxi. On the other hand, air ambulance service, if you can make it happen, make it a reality, then I think you can save lots of lives. And in fact, Dr. Varun was mentioning in my introduction, the living laboratory, deployable communication systems. I worked so many years, for almost a decade, and just 2 weeks back, I got this grant, probably the largest grant in my career. It's $1.5 million to develop a scalable system, a rapidly deployable communication system. So what do we mean by that? Use the drone to airlift a 5G base station, so which means that 5G base station has to be very miniaturized. And it's possible. Today's 5G system, probably it used to be like 20 pounds at least, but now the weight is so small, like in a few pounds. So we can carry a 5G base station system anywhere using drone and establish deployable communication system or emergency communication system in minutes, or maybe if not in minutes, maybe less than an hour. Definitely that's possible. So I was asked by the program manager to specifically focus on scaling the system to serve more people. So the point I'm trying to make here is, if you work hard, the result may not come today, but very soon you will see the result. So with that setup or backdrop, I'm going to talk about come to the main topic. So again, I'm honored to be here to share the 10 years of work that I've been doing over the past in conjunction with many projects. And these are my what you call sponsors. IEEE, of course. I'm a distinguished lecturer of IEEE Vehicular Technology Society, National Science Foundation. I think for most academicians, that's a funding agency. And then NASA for allowing me to engage in this exciting research. All right. So here is I already talked about a few things here, but I will take a few minutes to talk about my work, my current work, the current projects. Then what I call a cohort, North Texas cohort. It's a public, private, academic, government, and community engagement or partnership. How I was able to build this from scratch. I'll spend some time. And then the key thing that I want to, some of the research topics are autonomy. It's not just these research topics that I'm referring to, they are not limited to only drones. Autonomy is applicable to many other research topics, like for example, robotics. So here, what I would like to do, especially my suggestion for students is, look at the high-level topics that I'm discussing and try to relate to what you are doing and see how you can apply your knowledge towards drones or towards airspace. So as far as autonomy is concerned, I think there are 3 pillars. I'm going to talk about platform autonomy, autonomy in airspace, that's my key area of research, then infrastructure for autonomy. How do you enable autonomy? So what does autonomy mean? That you go to a helipad and then sit in the airplane that doesn't have any people, nothing else is there. It's an autonomous aircraft, and then it takes you in shortest time possible to your destination. So how do you make that possible? So what do you mean by autonomy there? And what is the role of human being? And where does our artificial intelligence and machine learning fit in? So those are the things we are going to briefly refer to, briefly discuss. But I would like you to pay attention to those topics and try to connect with them. Then I spent some time to define what you call airspace structure, or I call structured airspace. So air corridors is a concept. I heard the word somewhere in my projects, and then I tried to develop a mathematical concept around what you call air corridors. Then I will briefly mention about the role of digital twin, and then traffic management. So these are the key things that these are enablers of autonomy. Then I will talk about future research. I'll try to keep it small, but at the same time, if anybody has any questions, you can even interrupt me in the middle if you need. All right. So this is the future vision. It's a small, small picture, but I'm going to mention two things, two key things here. In the real world, as of now, there are two types of aircrafts. One is small aircraft that typically you see in our labs, for example. Most academic institutions have those small drones. So these drones are capable of carrying probably a few pounds, maybe 2 pounds, or around that. They can fly with the battery that is available for probably 30 minutes, around 30 minutes. And then the general idea is that they fly about 400 feet. Okay, so these are small drones capable of being in the airspace for a few minutes, up to maybe 30 minutes. So that is one technology. So we call that as UAS traffic management, or in simple terms, called UTM. So these names don't explain the whole story, but in terms of projects, we call that as a UTM project. The other side is at 4,000 feet, the project is called Advanced Air Mobility. It was initially called Urban Air Mobility, and then it's called Advanced Air Mobility. So here, the vehicles have of the size of helicopter, capable of carrying a couple of passengers. Then they will fly about 4,000 feet, and they can probably fly, so they can be in the airspace for probably an hour or so. But still, because of the limitations in terms of battery technology, we cannot keep them for long. So typically these vehicles are called electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, eVTOLs. But if you substitute the fuel, instead of battery, if you use diesel and other kind of alternatives, then of course you can keep the aircraft for longer time. But the advanced air mobility refers to typically eVTOLs, electric vehicles, deployed for shorter distances, like going from suburban to urban areas, from municipalities or from local to maybe airport, for about, again, less than an hour, okay, not more than that. So these are the things that are happening. And the UTM project started way back in 2014 or so. It went through 4 levels. So by the way, all these projects are led by NASA in the US. So obviously, it's like a think tank. Think about implementation is the last stage, but there should be a lot of research and development and a lot of experimentation before we are comfortable, in the sense, at this point, for example, in some of the key cities like Dallas, Fort Worth, we have this UTM vehicles flying in under about 400 feet, delivering small packages here and there, but still in experimental stage. Okay, we don't have like hundreds of vehicles delivering different packages, but we are in the forefront. Every country, in some of the cities, the government is leading these initiatives, but they are still experimental. They're not like massively deployed. We are not yet there. But after 10 years of growing over different levels, we are comfortable now to deploy these UTM kind of vehicles. But advanced air mobility, we have still a long way to go. So to give an idea, I'm only talking from the perspective of USA, and then also what NASA is doing. This is led by NASA. It was envisioned by NASA, but the industry is involved. We are seeing all these developments as we speak. So we finished one stage we call Advanced Air Mobility National Campaign Phase 1. We have done that. We are about to go towards Phase 2. There was for some reason there was a significant gap because NASA is following an approach called crawl, walk, run. The delay at the time we are taking is worthwhile because the goal is not to see any accidents, because one accident will actually delay the progress much farther back. So we don't want that to happen. So we are doing it very meticulously, making sure that we are taking care of all the gaps, and then do a lot of testing, experimental testing. So this is where I was able to involve, not just research, but I'm directly engaged with the practical deployment of advanced air mobility, and I'm very happy to share the details here. Okay, so what kind of partnership we were able to develop. Way back in 2018, I took a gamble. In fact, I went to NASA. I said, we are not in industry, but how can we engage? They said, go for it. And almost like no other university is engaged in this project in 2018. So I went to my university and asked, I need some support. And fortunately, I was able to get very good support from my College of Engineering, and they gave me $100,000 and say, okay, start whatever you want to do. So I gathered all these companies, small companies, big companies. Like small company, an example for small company is unmanned experts. Then Avianco. So Avianco is a very small company, but they built a product for what they call basically a traffic management system. Think about this. If you have the vision, if you have the ability, and if you are able to, if you are willing to work hard, you can develop a traffic management system in your home and deploy in the cloud. That's what Avianco, the CEO of that company, has done. And then big companies, Bell. So I was able to gather all of them. And then there is a institute called, or organization called North Central Texas Council of Governments. So it's more like, it's not truly a government, but it's a conglomeration of municipalities. So basically, I partnered, I brought all these key organizations. Another example is True Weather. Again, a startup company, very, very basic startup company. And weather has a very, very important role to play in air mobility or air taxi services. We need local weather. It's not sufficient if you go global picture. We need exactly what is happening, for example, in Mandi, in IIT campus, what is the weather, what's the temperature, all those environmental parameters. So, Metron is another company. It's a company, but it's a spin-off from GE, but they do something called demand capacity balancing. So what does it mean? All the scheduling things at the airport. So by the way, we call the smaller airport for drones, we call them as vertiports. So vertiports, like something like a building on a rooftop. There may be 4 or 8 vehicles. They need to be scheduled. We need power, charging stations. So all those logistics are done by a company called Metron. So basically, we built an ecosystem. So the key idea that I want to convey here is, it's not one man's job. This community has to be involved. Companies have to be involved, and then there should be opportunities for startup companies. Then research is needed. So with all this, somehow it worked together. Like, again, all you need is an initiative and some leadership capabilities, and then it is possible that people will join you, companies will join you, it depends on your strength or the passion that you have. So that's what happened, and again, I'm fortunate to have the support from all of this. So what is the role of university? We have a very big role to play, because industry wants to jump, industry wants to deploy things. Like, remember, if you go back a few years ago, Amazon wanted to deliver things, but we were not ready at that time. We need regulations, we need safety controls. But how do you get to regulations? That's where universities come into picture. We do the research. We take our time. We do solid fundamental research and give the results to think tanks like NASA, and then NASA will give that information to the regulatory bodies like Federal Aviation Authorities. So they can make rules. You can't make rules without all this knowledge, right? So that is the role of universities. And we have an institute called Center for Integrated Intelligent Mobility Systems. We are actually looking at not only air mobility, we are also looking at how to integrate air mobility services with ground transportation. So you can't just, they don't exist in silos. Then we look at security issues, spectrum requirements, vehicle-to-vehicle communications. In fact, that is something that I've been championing for several years. Vehicle-to-vehicle communications, it was non-existent before. You might have heard that for ground vehicles, but it is totally different. V2V for ground is different from V2V for air vehicles. You can if you spend some time, you can think about how much latency we need. You don't have the luxury of minutes. It has to be happen in seconds, because if 2 vehicles are too close, you can't ask the ground control to give clearance for changing the route. It's not possible. They have to make the decisions right there. So it happened so that when the Malaysian aircraft was disappeared, that's when I thought about this, and I reached out to IEEE. Actually, I reached out to all the standards organizations and was asking this question: can a pilot talk to another pilot? Can a, like a human, we talk on the ground? They said, it's not there. I mean, it's possible, but through help of ATC. But we don't have, with drones, with hundreds of drones in the airspace. I'm thinking about the future. So the imagination can be extended to each one of us having our own flying car. It is going to happen, but it takes, of course, it may take a few years. But so the vehicle-to-vehicle communications is one of the key enablers. So I started this standard called 1920.2 under the auspices of IEEE, and we are about to release the standard probably by end of this year. So anyway, so basically the point here is universities have a very big role to play. Just a minute to move the slide. All right. So what happened with all this effort, with all this partnership? On October 11th, 2022, we did our first flight. The airspace, or what we call air corridor, was designed or established by Federal Aviation Authority, and under the leadership of NASA, we did our first flight test on October 11th and 20th, 2022 with all our partners. I talked about several companies. Each one produced their own product. Each one deployed their own product. And all these products worked like a charm because we worked for it for about 3 years, 2019, 2020, 21, and ultimately we were able to do the first test. And it was from university. Once again, see the role of university. First flight was demonstrated by UNT. So if you look at the bottom, that's an airport. It's a commercial airport. You look at the top, UNT Discovery Park with the green bullet. That's where we started the flight from there. And then we made 2 rounds. We tried to test all the elements of this ecosystem. And this result, or this article was featured on NASA website. And it was published in IEEE Spectrum magazine in 2023. And I gave a TED talk in 2022 November. So this is our one success story. Okay. All right, so there are several things that are going. I'll just mention a couple of things. Just like IIT Mandi, our university also receives, it's a tier 1 institute. And as of now, I have 3 grants, major grants from two from National Science Foundation and from NASA, worth about $3.5 million. And several startup companies, like 3 phase 2 SBIRs. Each one is about worth $1 million. Then I'm leading 2 standards, 1920.1, 1920.2. So these are all, first one was completed, it's released, and 20.2 is in progress. We are going to release very soon. And several patents. In fact, just by tomorrow or so, we are with students. The key thing is, students are engaged in all these projects. I gave them, I'm going to share the latest story. I came up with an idea called traffic lights in the airspace. Obviously, you can't have traffic lights, physical traffic lights, right? And I proposed this, I shared that with my students. Then they built a proof of concept. And 27th is the deadline. Usually we file a preliminary patent first. After 1 year, within 1 year, you're supposed to file the full patent. So that is happening now. And then 3 students, just undergrad students, they have done a terrific job to complete the story, to build a proof of concept. And we are going to file it, I think, before 27. So these are all the things that are happening. And I'll take about, I have about 5 minutes only. So I'll talk about some, let me focus on autonomy and tell you what exactly it means. Okay. Okay. Here is what we are going to see. Imagine that you are sitting in a unmanned aircraft system, and then you are going for a 30-minute tour, 30-minute trip, for example, from IIT Mandi to city of Mandi, or maybe to Chandigarh. So think about what kind of things you need to take care of. Remember, there is nothing else. There is no pilot in the aircraft. So what kind of help you need? What do you mean by autonomy? So here are a few things that we already tested this, by the way, in our field test. So look at the bullets. There is an operator. Okay? Operator, of course, he has to use a bunch of tools. He plans the mission and come up with a flight path, a flight plan. So you need a flight plan. And a lot of preparation has to be done. You need a lot of tools, but I'm skipping all that. So we need a flight plan. Then the operator submits the plan to a traffic management system. Here we call that PSU. PSU stands for Provider of Services for US, but ignore all the abbreviations for a second. Just focus on the steps. There is a plan. We need to make a plan. Then you need to make sure that the plan is viable. That means you are not conflicting with the commercial aircraft. You are not conflicting with helicopters, gliders, or emergency services and all that. And then you also have to check with primarily weather. Make sure that the weather is good. And then make sure that this flight is not going to conflict with any other flight, any other regional flight. We may be monitoring in one region, but maybe there is a flight coming from other region to this region. So you have to avoid the conflict. Then you also have to make sure that we are following the boundaries of airspace. So we are supposed to be all the time within the airspace. So each one of them is like a service. Most of them are software because this is all about airspace. I'm not talking about platform autonomy, but focusing more on the airspace autonomy. How do we make sure that things go well from the beginning to end? So there are several subsystems. They have to work together. They have to talk to each other in real time, in milliseconds delay, or maybe even smaller. And then, of course, you have to make sure that all the input that is coming, all the information you are getting is authentic. It is legitimate. There's no tampering involved. So these are the things we tested, and we were able to fly one aircraft from on one mission successfully. And we also created some sort of disruptions. Like in the middle of the flight, we created two scenarios. One is the weather gone bad. And interestingly, at the time, really it was raining and we got a bad weather. That's one. The second is the vertiport or the airport is busy, you cannot land, so the flight has to reroute. So all these autonomous operations have to take place properly, and so for all this to happen, of course, so what do you need? You need a reliable communication service. It should work all the time. It's not like there's it doesn't matter whatever be the situation, bad weather or whatever the difficulties you have, the communication has to work 100%. So how do you provide? Today we don't have that. In fact, when we were doing all this experiment, that was the biggest problem. Everything worked well because software systems, interestingly, with lot of training, lot of tests, you can make them work very well. But when it comes to hardware, you cannot rely them. You cannot rely 100%. So you need all this agility. And if you want to look at the paper, it was published in 2023. Digital twin approach for integrated airspace management. It was authored by me, so it's publicly available. You can take a look. All right. So these are all our partners, and then I'm going to leave this for future discussion. I did a lot of work on structuring the airspace and what we call air corridors, and the concept of unit air cell was defined in this paper. And then from a communication point of view, those who are working in UAV communications, there is another concept. The air cell structure is called, the geometry is truncated octahedron, if you're looking from a communication point of view. So this prism or this cuboid is suitable for mobility point of view, but from communication point of view, you need something like a hexagon on the ground. The equivalent is what you call truncated octahedron. So anyway, these are the research points that you can see, and I want maybe a small simulation here shows how closely vehicles can come and how fast you have to react and what is the need for vehicle-to-vehicle communications. Okay. And these are the real corridors, by the way, that were established by or studied by NASA. And again, I gave the reference. I'll be happy to share this presentation with anyone who wants. And our future vision is to have multiple vertiports from short segments to long segment, connecting urban to rural areas and tribal areas. So this is what we are working on. And I want to leave with you a last point. The FAA came up with a implementation plan for advanced air mobility, and it's called Innovate 28. It's publicly available. If you look at, it's a 5-year plan. It was published in 23. So by 2028, in major cities, we are going to see air taxis and air ambulances, at least in key areas. So with that I will wrap up. And if you have any questions, I'll take up 1 or 2 questions, and then we can go to the next session. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, sir, it was a wonderful talk, and I hope it can solve the issue of traffic in India in cities like Bangalore. And my question is, can you please tell how much was the cost incurred per vehicle in this particular system?
Cost for, like for example, to take a flight or to build the?
To build the system and for taking a flight as well, the overall cost.
Yeah. In fact, the platforms are being built by big companies and small companies, like for example, Boeing, Airbus, those are big companies. They are building this. Interestingly, the vehicles are already ready, they're ready to fly. In fact, there are small companies, like 10 years ago, a company called Joby Aviation, it was very successful. Today they have so many contracts already with the government. They go in multi-millions, maybe 100 millions and all that. But what's interesting is for you and me to take this flight, there is a lot of research going on how to make this service accessible, as simple as like Uber. Instead of calling Uber, yes, Uber and taxi and Uber on the ground, you want to call Uber for flying.
Right. Yeah.
There is significant effort from a community point of view, how to make it accessible to everybody and make it as small price as possible.
Thank you, sir.
So my question is towards the nature that, in this now we have it seems that we have already flooded with air pollution because of these vehicles on the road. So are we trying to do something similar? What are the steps that we are taking and to ensure that there is no pollution and there is less impact in nature, while we would be almost dealing with the different atmospheric layers?
Yeah. There are 2 aspects. One is the fuel, for example. The battery technologies they're very good as such. So technically or theoretically they're supposed to have less pollution, but there is if you think carefully, to produce battery you need a lot of resources. So people sometimes wonder, what does it cost? What's the pollution that the factory that producing battery will produce? That's putting it that aside. If you are successful in building this battery, I think that is one cause for less pollution. But another important thing is noise. So imagine that you have maybe if you fly a small drone, you don't see a lot of sound. But if you are flying hundreds of drones in your community, you're going to see a lot. So there has been a lot of work going on how to reduce the the noise from the noise coming from audio or coming from the vehicles. So there's significant research going on. It will continue. It's a continuum, not just one time thing. Yeah.
This seems to be a great credible thing in the medical field, right? So airlift the folks and everywhere around. So are we kind of planning, do we have a vision to extend this there as well and try some pilots there with the in medical field?
Yeah, this is very interesting. In fact, that is close to my heart. And I wrote some projects, they haven't been successful, but I'm also want to reach out to Indian universities and organizations also, is that one idea is to have a network of hospitals. That means from one hospital to fly to another hospital, particularly for transporting human tissues and organs. It's kind of a dream, but it takes a lot of efforts. What I heard is that if a human organ is outside the body for 1 hour, it will lose 10 years of lifetime. This is a statistic that I heard. So given that, look at the importance. If suppose there's a donor ready and there is a recipient ready, and if you can take quickly transport the tissue or organ, that is the best service that we can think of. And I know different groups are working on this, but if we can join hands and make it happen, that is the killer application. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for a wonderful presentation. And in the whole world's commutation happens in the road or aviation, I mean, like with regards to road, right and left drive. Now, the signals in the whole world, it's commenced or unified 1957 treaty by the United Nations. Now when it comes, it's 57. Now with regards to aviation, it's called as a Chicago Convention 1944 with an effect in 1947. Now you talk about the technicality and it's no more in a dream. Now tell me, where is the policy level? It comes to the implementation, number one. Number two, what is the unification code? Is there any convention happened on this concept? Because whatever is applicable in this, and is it applicable in the entire US, or it's in the north or in the south, or where the policies stand, and what is the practicality as per the global governance? Thank you.
Yeah. There is an organization called ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. That is where I think the global efforts are going on. Even though, for example, we call advanced air mobility. In the Europe, I think the project called U-Space. There are efforts going in different places, and in India also, I know that in several years ago, there was a first test on transporting medical supplies. So these are things are going on in bits and pieces. Every country has its own agenda, but it is a ICAO that's where we work together. Of course, there are other organizations like, they're global, RTCA, for example, Radio Telecommunication Association, ASTM. So there are, the efforts are going in international or global level also. But at this point, we're still not there. As the things that you are suggesting, policies, we haven't gone there yet. Meaning that what purposes we have to use this, not to use this for wrong purposes. So all these policies, all these ideas are still emerging. There is information exchange from different groups, but we're still in a long way to go there.
That's a very exact point which I like to highlight to the students, because most of the students, when I travel across the country or even very sad different part of the continent, the student do not get into the thought process of becoming a policy writer from the technical aspect, or as a technocrat evolve to become a statesman. Because someone who sits in the policy writing without an experience of technical understanding and the criticality, and they write the policy, which leads to many amendments, not only amendment, delay of the application, and also conflict of laws and process when there is a controversy happens. Yeah. So in this one, I think this is the classic example. While developing the technical aspect, also implementation aspect, the governance and guidance policy aspect, I think that I request ICC-NT to consider one session to look into the policy aspect, because we are no more living in isolated, compartmentalized knowledge stream. So a combination of the diplomat, combination of global civil servants and technocrats have to do a combined brainstorming to come out with recommendations to the national, regional and possible to the multilateral agencies. Thank you, Professor.
I 100% agree with you. Thanks for the suggestion. In fact, ICCNT can do it. Recently, I know a student who graduated, he did his PhD on this kind of things, policies and guidelines for at global level. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kamish. Thank you so much.
So, just to thank Professor Kamish for a wonderful talk, please give a round of applause, warm round of applause. Yeah, Professor, thank you so much. Just two pieces of things while we were discussing. One, Prakash brought it out. Recently, we have got very large lithium deposits in Jammu and Kashmir, a place called Rees, and you can check it out. Geological Survey of India was searching for lithium deposits because lithium is, as you know, Professor mentioned, used for the battery, lithium ion battery, which is going to be used in many of these application areas, including the electric vehicle. Of course, we had an article in Spectrum as well. Electric vehicle is not always green, but what it does is it opens up a chapter where manufacturing of these batteries and applications can happen in our country, which can be done more in a less polluted manner, as what ma'am was mentioning. Regarding policy, it's a very good idea, and I think in IEEE also there is an engineering management society, and I also have a policy background. I graduated from computer engineering and public policy. So I see that a technical perspective is needed to shape appropriate policies. And I think in the apex bodies in the government, we have that where technical committees, including IITs, are roped in, and technical institutes are roped in when policies are getting shaped. But ICCNT taking that forward, something we'll work on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dutt. Oh, please.
Yeah, so I know questions are many, but time is out. We are running because parallel sessions, but you're sitting next to Professor Kamish, and I would request you to have a chat together. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Professor Dutt. Thank you so much. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Professor Kamish. Professor Prakash, I would personally like to thank you for giving me the opportunity of anchoring today's show and getting to meet Professor Kamish. Professor, you have inspired me in more ways than one, let me tell you. I mean, I am struggling to buy a car, and here you are talking about flying cars is not a fiction anymore. So thank you so much for inspiring me to do better in life. Wonderful session, sir. Thank you so much for your experience, for your time. It was such a pleasure. Thank you again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now have, just to get into an interaction with you, to share the knowledge and time with you, we have directors of International Electronics Packaging Society, that is EPS. So directors, over to you. Let the AV play.
Europe and in Asia. We designate one of the conferences in each continent as our Asia flagship and European. We have a lot of activity in Europe and in Asia. We designated one of the conferences in each continent as our Asia flagship and European flagship conference.
I think we all know how important our networks are. We don't work in one company, our careers now. We need those networks. ECPC and EPS are really valuable ways to build your network.
Getting those different viewpoints and then talk to somebody who's gone into academia and has a long career in that versus somebody who's been pure industry and has a long career in that, it gives me the ability to choose my own adventure, to determine what course I'm going to go down, because I have access to all of these different viewpoints that's not available anywhere else.
And that's in particular for young professionals. I think the interaction with those individuals is really a critical element of building a career.
it's EPS forums and community that enables the mentoring of those young professionals as they come through.
Adding not only to the opportunity for the young professionals to present their ideas, but to the dialogue across our society with the established leaders, with mid-career people, with young professionals, all debating, all discussing, all exploring ideas.
EPS allows the student, okay, to become a professional. They all learn all about organization, and they get to manage the finances, they get to manage the events. Then there's also a social function. EPS is very generous in travel grants and things of that sort, so it allows them to go and attend these conferences such as ECTC and present their work.
They give them the chance to present their work in a briefer and condenser way, and then meet the industry people, professionals to network.
Engaging them in interesting technical conversations, that's all, that is not taught in a formal way in a school.
You have access to the transactions, as well as access to the other IEEE publications, of course, some of which relate to this.
We have more diversity. We bring equivalent depth, but each of our papers is peer-reviewed. It gives you access to the latest information written by the experts. We have special topics, we have review articles, we have topics of general interest, and we have topics of specific interest. Almost everything gets packaged together, and we watch everything carefully. So the end product is something that you learn quite a bit out of.
Electronic Packaging Society, with a premier forum for presentation, discussion, elaboration, as well as development of new ideas in packaging science and technology. Packaging spans that entire range of scales and powers and technologies, and we provide the forum for elaborating and exploring that technology.
There's so much to gain through being a member of IEEE and EPS, the community, the educational materials that you gain access to, and the potential for career enhancement.
And there are always opportunities then in these new initiatives for young people, for new people, for people who've just joined, maybe just have moved into packaging. You know, they could be mature engineers who've done something else for 20 years. We love them too, and so we want to see those people join us, bring their knowledge, bring their experience, and get out there and get engaged pursuing packaging challenges. EPS is the Electronic Packaging Society, with a premier forum for presentation, discussion, elaboration, as well as development of new ideas in packaging science and technology. Packaging spans that entire range of scales and powers and technologies, and we provide the forum for elaborating and exploring that technology.
We have 34 chapters. 13 are in the US, 12 in Europe, and 9 in Asia.
We have a lot of activity in Europe and in Asia. We designated one of the conferences in each continent as our Asia flagship and European flagship companies.
I think we all know how important our networks are. We don't work in one company, our careers now. We need those networks. ECTC and EPS are really valuable ways to build your network.
Getting those different viewpoints and then talking to somebody who's gone into academia and has a long career in that versus somebody who's been pure industry and has a long career in that, it gives me the ability to choose my own adventure, to determine what course I'm going to go down, because I have access to all of these different viewpoints that's not available anywhere else.
And that's in particular for young professionals. I think the interaction with those individuals is really a critical element of building a career. The publications themselves, again, you have access to the transactions as well as access to the other IEEE publications, of course, some of which relate to this.
We have more diversity. We bring equivalent depth, but each of our papers is peer reviewed. It gives you access to the latest information written by the experts. We have special topics, we have review articles, we have topics of general interest, and we have topics of specific interest. Almost everything gets packaged together, and we watch everything carefully. So the end product is something that you learn quite a bit out of. And to me, that is the value. The fact that you have access to the latest information done very, very well.
I also look forward to engagements with the young professionals, the next generation to come through, and the mentoring of those young professionals as they come through. And it's EPS forums and community that enables that.
So I think, to me, it's all about engagement. And at the early stage, as well as every other stage along the way. Adding, we hope, to not only to the opportunity for the young professionals to present their ideas, but to the dialogue across our society with the established leaders, with mid-career people, with young professionals, all debating, all discussing, all exploring ideas.
EPS allows the student, okay, to become a professional. They all learn all about organization, and they get to manage the finances, they get to manage the events. Then there's also a social function.
Those networking skills and engaging them in interesting technical conversations, that's all, that is not taught in a formal way in a school.
Also, EPS is very generous in travel grants and things of that sort, so it allows them to go and attend these conferences such as ECTC and present their work.
I think being part of these societies really give students these opportunities to meet people and to express their ideas, to also learn from their fellow students and how the community behaves, how they interact.
There's so much to gain through being a member of IEEE and EPS, the community, the educational materials that you gain access to, and the potential for career enhancement.
And there are always opportunities then in these new initiatives for young people, for new people, for people who've just joined, maybe just have moved into packaging. You know, they could be mature engineers who've done something else for 20 years. We love them too. And so we want to see those people join us, bring their knowledge, bring their experience, and get out there and get engaged pursuing packaging challenges.
Good afternoon. So I'd like to invite the next speaker, Mrs. Prachi Gaur. She is a distinguished Agile practitioner, and she is a well-known exceptional. She have done exceptional contributions to the IT department, and she have done a lot of service sector work, and she has experience more than 15 years. She is celebrated as a ET award winner, and she holds expertise in global delivery, IT strategy, management, and pre-sales. So she is deeply committed to achieving a customer satisfaction through digital transformations and enhancing customer experiences. So we are fortunate to have her here, and I welcome Prachi to give a presentation.
Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Prachikar. Please take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a super interactive discussion wherein, and I'd be moderating. By the way, my name is Nikita Rana. Thank you so much, Ms. Garg, for giving me this opportunity to get in conversation with you. The discussion is on college to corporate. So that is what Ms. Garg here absolutely aces at. So we are trying to keep this super interactive. How about we start? Ms. Garg, how about we start with having our first question from the lovely audience members? If you don't volunteer, we will forcefully ask you to volunteer. So any questions? This is your time to make the most of it, your golden opportunity. You've got an expert in the corporate field who's already done with the college. So any questions, now is the time. What would be your queries? The ma'am from, oh, sir, yes. So the format will be, you tell us your name, where have you come from, and your question.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Divyank Mittal, and I've come from BRC Mumbai. So my question is, how do you manage your personal and professional life after you start working or after you just passed out from college?
I think it's a very early question for you to ask, as you're still yet to enter to the professional life. That is what I understand. But the key to is art of saying no. So as you enter into professional life, there would be a lot of chances, and especially as a fresher, a lot of your seniors and a lot of folks would come and ask you, do this and do that. It's up to you how you kind of, put up a constraint and put up a wall, and you know where to say no. That would actually help you to pick up the right things for yourself, right priorities, set up a right priorities, and ensure that you are able to make up make a balance between your personal and professional life.
Okay, thank you.
So for example, I can give you a few of the examples from my corporate life is that during my first job, extra.
So what's your name again?
Divyang.
Divyang, yes. So just adding to Divyang's question, Ms. Garg, I mean, see, there's a lot of power dynamics which plays as well. It's easier said than done. In my first corporate, in the first organization that I was, the intimidation, right? Saying no to a senior will just get you to a very intimidated spot. So how would you say, how is it that we take care of that? The power dynamic angle, how do we take care of that?
For that, I would suggest that you need to take again there's a very thin line that you are not offending someone.
Absolutely.
Right? So folks are pretty cautious about it, that they're not kind of overpowering you, especially in a corporate, because there are a lot of checks and balances are always there, right? So there, for example, in all the organizations I have worked so far, there's always a 360 feedback mechanism. So people are kind of, all your seniors are cognizant of the fact that they are not offending you and they are not, taking due advantage of you. But yes, when you have to say no, you can very well politely go ahead and ensuring that things are in the right place. That's about it.
My God, Ms.
I think
Garg, where were you when I was working?
so just wanted to add what you
Sure,
mentioned is
yeah.
that I think the key for me to be successful in corporate is a right communication skill. You should be able to put forward what exactly you want in as many words as you can in a very, very polished way. And that obviously comes as you grow up in the hierarchy while you network and while you interact. So communication and the soft skill plays a very important role for your success metrics in any corporate across globe. That holds true across globe, I would say.
Ms. Garg, that's such an interesting point that you made, right? Because we are at IIT Mandi, IIT is being one of the most hardcore, as technical a college as can be. So something that these scholars have been trained for since the longest time would be hard skills. So when you mentioned soft skills, what would you say once somebody enters the corporate realm? What would be the percentage of their hard skills being utilized versus their soft?
I mean, I've been on the other side of table 16 years back, and based on my experience, I would say when I passed on out as a fresher, my hard skill to soft skill ratio was 90 to 10%, right? I was hardly polished, but yes, a lot of organizations, when you enter the corporate, they actually give you an orientation program, and not to say even the educational institution let you do the internship with the corporates. That actually gives a slight exposure on what is expected with respect to the soft skills. So I believe that as a student and as a new fresh employee, you should make most of it, and you should interact with those folks, and to make sure that whatever feedback, because all these sessions actually sometimes a good feedback is given, so you make the most of the feedback being given and bring the best out of yourself. Sometimes practice and sometimes knowing and introspecting yourself also helps in the improvement of your soft skills.
Fantastic answer, Ms. Garg. Like I said, scholars, I repeat, because this is a session not for me to ask questions of Ms. Garg, but for you to put forward any queries that you have. So make the most of it, ma'am, right there. Unfortunately for you, you're sitting right directly in my line of sight. So yes, if you don't have a question, please come up with one in the next 3 seconds. Yes, ma'am, yes, sure. What's your name? Where have you come from? And what would your question be?
Hello. Yeah, I'm Dr. Pranjali. I came from Hyderabad. So it's not unfortunate. Don't say that. The first question I would like to ask is, like, we are in academia domain. So if I wanted to collaborate with any company or something, like how to start? This is a really big question. Like I tried 3 companies. They listen everything, but they never show any interest. I am a neuroscientist, and I work in healthcare domain. So literally I visited 3 hospitals. I try to give them all the knowledge and what research we can do and how we can help. Actually, we want real research problems. But the problem is they will never gonna come back, or there are very few which are ready to tie up. So this is, if I go on a small scale industry like startups, they are ready to come up because they want a name. But if I really want to go with a Qualcomm or a good brand, so it's really difficult for us to approach them. So as a corporate one, can you tell us like how to deal this?
I think the best way is networking. You need to find the right contact, right? So because, for example, I'm not sure that what kind of contact you are kind of searching for. And so, for example, you are looking for someone who is kind of looking into neuroscience. That's what you suggest, right? So maybe you may wanted to look the right person in that organization who is actually dealing with that field itself. Because most of the time, there are in bigger organizations and MNCs, there are a lot of people doing different things, and they're not able to do justice with what you're looking forward for. Or sometimes it's above what they're actually dealing with it, right? So find the right contact, and at least what I have noticed is, especially on a LinkedIn, folks do respond. So if you kind of reach out to the right person, they would definitely respond via LinkedIn. So maybe you can use the platform like LinkedIn's, or you can kind of go ahead and join the platforms like these, wherein you find the right set of contact, and believe me, networking plays a very important role in getting your voice heard.
Yeah, that's true, but sometime I also found that everyone wants work to be done without pay anything. I just, this is the thing. I got 2-3 projects from good hospitals, but they don't want to show any kind of, investment in that. So that's
That
the
could be a
biggest
different
issue.
thing. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm the right person to help you out there.
Okay, thanks.
Muskar, I mean, just adding to your answer probably, right? If you never work for free,
Yes.
you don't do that. So maybe if your target audience at the very start itself is a bigger organization, so you would maybe want to start small, you like the startups that you mentioned, start very small, pick up small projects, make sure they're paid, and then scale it up instead of directly. That's the best way.
And plus, there are a lot of freelancing stuff as well that you would find these days because of this, during pandemic, a lot of remote opportunities that are also available. You can actually explore there, which are kind of global and not only related to your area as well. So global, what I have noticed is global folks are more interested in investing and with respect to the, like when it comes to the reimbursements and all stuff. Yeah. I would say everybody value is just that you need to hit the right click. That's about it, right timing.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Garg, what would you say would be the key difference? Like you said, 16 years back, you were on the other side of the table, right? So what was the key difference that you experienced in your life in college versus corporate?
I think the key difference that I see is that the stakes are very high when you work with a corporate, and that I see even as a fresher to where I am right now. So when as a fresher, especially when I was in college, I could say that if one line goes wrong in a presentation, maximum to maximum the loss would be I would get less grades or my team would be affected, right? But when I joined as a fresher, the stakes were like, okay, something is missing. My senior might come and cover me up for one of the client presentations. But now as I sit here, I don't think I have a choice of making any mistake because stakes are very high, the high visibility. So there's a pros and cons, and I really miss my time as a fresher right now some days because, I have that flexibility. If I'm coming anywhere, I can shut down my laptop at 5 o'clock and I'm like, okay, I'm all good. But now I cannot repeat that, right? I constantly, the work is always there at the back of your mind. So stakes, accountability, I think that increases as you rise up in the hierarchy in a corporate.
Got zero error zone.
Yes. Right now it's a zero error zone, and that we kind of get to hear everywhere. That word you kind of get to hear as you step into the corporate. On your day one, when your orientation would be happening, that is the first thing that you will get to hear. This is a zero error zone. You have no scope for making errors.
Professor, that will probably dislike what I'm going to say, but yeah, probably make all the mistakes right now.
Yes, this is the best place to do that.
Make all the mistakes. Don't repeat the same mistakes, make new mistakes. Great, thank you so much, Ms. Garg. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, there was a question from your end.
So before asking my question, I'd like to answer what, I think your name is Dr. Prachi? Pranji, okay, fine. So as far as the collaborations on the healthcare domain is there, I think a lot of hospitals are open for that. And each, like good hospitals, as far as I know, like AIMS, Fortis, Apollo and all that, they have their own research centers where they try to collaborate with the organizations like premier educational institutes, and they, so what the thing is, they don't fund these projects. Whatever project you are proposing for that they will ask you to submit a joint proposal for the funding agency, like for DBT is there, and like a lot of other agencies are also there, and specifically for the women scientists. So that is lot of funds into that area. Only thing is the proposal what you are submitting should have good social impact, and it should have the novelty, right? From the patient's point of view, from the radiologist's point of view, from the surgeon's point of view, from the oncologist's point of view, it should have a good social impact. So that was, I think probably I would have answered. And now coming to my question, now this question is as a teacher, right? In all the institutes you have that training and placement cells where they teach students the qualitative aptitude, quantitative aptitude, placement questions, blah, 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 everything. What is, like now as you are in the corporate, what you feel should be added on before graduating in the curriculum so that they are more enabled and they are ready to face all the kind of corporate challenges?
I think one of the most important thing that can be added is a practical application. So to be very honest, whatever I have studied in my college days might not, I'm not doing, practicing it, right, as on today. It might help that, yes, the summer projects, the internships that we do with the corporates really help to give that exposure. I think more and more trainings within the corporate and getting the external lecturers who are actually working in the corporate would help them and give them that level of exposure and tell them the inside stories so that they can, once they kind of step into the corporate, it is not an alien word to them. Because I remember when we started, hardly it was completely like in a altogether different world we have kind of come to it, because there are a lot of conflict resolutions. So again, this is soft skills that matters the most, and it could be as simple as thinking on the feet, how to ensure that your seniors are not getting offended and you're not hurting yourself as well, how to plan your career goals. So those kind of
How
things,
to work with the team.
how to work with how to be a good team player. So there are, yes, we do work as a team player in different cohorts and different projects that we do, but yes, how not to be a free rider sometimes. So to make sure that there's a balance in between, and so those practical things and practical workshops really help, and sometimes more frequent sessions from the folks who are actually working in corporate can keep a balance and give them a better exposure. That is what I feel.
Thank you so much, Ms. Garg. Ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the last 5 minutes of this session. Make the most of it. Ask any questions that you have in mind. Okay, how many of you would be done with their academic life very soon, by this year? Great. The next questions will have to come from you then. Yes, the gentleman in...
Hello.
Yes.
So I'm Rohan Pawar from Indore, and I'm from VIT Chennai. I'm finally a student. I'll graduate in July or August.
Oh, many congratulations.
Thank you. And probably I will already have a job at TCS. And I had one question, but I think you already answered it partially. So in a company like TCS, which is so vast with so many people, how do you stand out from the crowd? Like apart from soft skills and your hard skills that you do have, sometimes the talent that you have, it goes unseen because you're not able to convey your actual skills. So how do you stand out from the crowd apart from soft skills and communication?
That's a wonderful question, and I wanted to cover it later as well. Thanks for asking this. So when you enter any corporate for the first time, right? So there is always an orientation program to 5 to 6 days, or sometimes for a month as well. Be focused there. I think that has really helped me, because there in those sessions, a lot of different veterans from the organization comes in, and they talk about what is this organization about. They talk about the vision. They talk about the values. Excuse me. They talk about the values, which usually as a fresher we think that, okay, this is just a session, we can skip it. But believe me, those sessions are very, very important, because they gives you the length and breadth of the entire organization, and they actually gives you the opportunity and a platform to know what all the fields that an organization is doing, wherein you can actually think of craving your path, right? So for example, maybe you might be given, and in organizations like TCS, first, you will be allocated a project. It could be a possibility that you might not like it, right? Having said that, since you have those contacts and you know that these were the 10 different fields wherein you might have approached, it is easy and fairly easy to go and approach those folks and those veterans. And believe me, all the leaders in organizations, at least that I have come across in multiple organizations, have never faced any issues with respect to the responses. They're very responsive. A fresher might not respond, but I've seen all the leaders have been super responsive. That has been my take to it. And that is one part of it. So having said that, there are other different side things that an organization does it. So for example, there could be a CSR, there could be different chapters like different clubs and networking. Go ahead, because you know, when you join as a fresher or few years in your career, they're very important for you to network, because then you have that time and the bandwidth to do that. Use that time. Go in all I remember I used to go in each and every smallest event that used to happen at Sapient. It could be CSR, it could be live sessions, it could be webinar, and the whole reason was that I wanted to understand what this organization is doing and I want to network. When you start networking with different folks, you know, you kind of somewhere keeping impacting them, right? They understand that, okay, ABC person exists, and this is where you are able to leaving your impact outside your official work. And these things actually get counted when you're during your appraisal happen, because most of the organization actually see that, okay, it's just not about the key work. They actually look for how active you are in bringing and sharing the values and the vision of the organization. It's just not about coding. They want these days organizations are looking for a holistic person who can understand and who can bring that level of impact. So all these things would definitely help you to understand the organization better, to make a better impact. And yes, there is no harm sometimes to stay back after your office hours and understand what is exactly is happening within your team. To understand the teammates better, there is no reason that you should avoid team parties. Go ahead. Just because you would get to know the people more. Some people might react X way and some people. So your personal way to, personal repo also helps in understanding and growing yourself within that same organization.
I don't think the gentleman right there would be missing out on any office parties. That is for sure. So thank you so much, and of course, many congratulations on your job. We'll take in. Oh, sure, yeah.
Can use this mic? Okay. So how do you be visible out of the crowd? That's your question, right? I'll share my experience of corporate life for 10, 12 years. You go, you do your job and come back. You have certain skill sets. The organization expects you to deliver some results, and you get your salary paid by start of the next month. So this is pure transaction. Beyond this, first of all, if you are joining TCS, you need to know where the TCS has actually started, the foundation of that company. There are certain culture every organization has, right? So I'll give an example of the company which I work for, Mars Chocolates. You know, the famous Snickers and M&Ms. So when you, I am not a chocolate fan as such, but when you go and work there, I was supposed to head the logistics function of it. I need to know where the chocolate comes from. So I have to go study, right, where the chocolate actually originated, what are the challenges. Again, I'm saying it's not my passion. I'm not a foodie, but the organization wants you to know it. Second, this all happens when you go for your induction. Second thing is, there are a lot of places where you can step up and volunteer. It may be as simple as organizing a small function. It may be a marathon event which would have been conducted. You can just walk for 5 kilometers, no harms. So this is how you make your own space, make yourself visible in that larger crowd. Just sticking to your functional skills, going and working, you will be one among the herd. So slowly and slowly, all those opportunities, like simple improvements in the canteen. 1,000 people come and go back. You can always go reach out to the admin. So we tend to say, this is wrong. You know, I'm not getting this. If you put it the other way, the same admin person or the manager who sits there, can we do it this way? I can help you out. So you have to reach cross-cultural departments. So once you get that, be rest assured, your progress in terms of career as an individual in an organization will definitely go up. Hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Major Madan. Big round of applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final question. We've actually run out of time. Is there any other question from student? We can take one from the student. Absolutely. Ma'am, any parting note, what would be your final verdict? What is your final, tip? What would be your platinum tip, not just golden? How do they make a smooth transition?
I would say that, you own your own career. So do not depend on your seniors or anyone. It's just your duty to do what exactly you want out of that organization. So put your career goals into milestones, discuss with your managers, and figure out the way to achieve it. It's you who own it, always remember that. And I have seen people rising from like in an year, every year getting promotions, to people sitting on things for 5 years as well, because it's up to them how much they are able to make most of it. So just I think one line that I have been told by my mentors is that, and always make sure that you have a mentor in that organization or beyond that organization who can guide you on timely. So the one thing that I have been told, and I'm passing on that baton to all of you, is that you own your own career anywhere. So make sure that you're onto it. That's about it. Thank you
Beautiful
for your time.
tip.
And
Thank you so
all the very
much,
best.
Ms. Prachikar. What a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for sharing your experience and time. And yes, thank you. Lovely ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Prakash, is there anything you'd like to add?
Thank you, Prachi, for this session. So we have 3 societies. You have justified Professional Communication Society's activity. Thank you so much. I think we didn't even think about that this will align with the Professional Communication Society. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. With this, we break for lunch at the beautiful Devbhoomi IIT Mandi. And we meet in the next 1 hour. Professor Dutt, 1 hour. Wow. Okay, so I think we should run in that case. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. With this, we break. You've been a lovely audience. Meet you very soon.